Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 507th episode of the GeekVerse podcast. I am the Gotham Demon, Trasdale, and I'm joined by...
I am Death, Destroyer of Worlds, Kirklin Patzer.
And I am the Adam Hart caster, Dylan Muss.
Maybe it's because I'm slow today. It's hot. We were just talking about. There's lots going on. Kirk, what is your nickname referring to? What am I missing here?
That is an infamous quote from Oppenheimer after he saw the first nuclear detonation. He says, "I have now become Death, Destroyer of Worlds." Very ominous quote. I'm expecting Cillian Murphy to drop that line in the movie, but yes.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. We'll talk. We'll get there, you know. So, but thank you for letting me know because I was not paying attention in the history class during Oppenheimer. You know, we went over this. Louis Riel. You know, that's the only point only part I listened to. The rest of it,
no atomic bombs from Louis Riel. He was
on
the battlefield.
He was planning on it, but he just didn't get around to it apparently. So, you know, that tends to happen. But yeah, how's everyone doing tonight?
Fantastic.
We're pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you guys were going longer.
I had a nice
We talked for 20 minutes. So
I know,
we
I
did.
know.
We really did. I depleted all my stories.
Yeah.
But no, it was nice. I had like an ice cold shower after my nice walk with Marco. And that's like, it's crazy like how different the ice cold temperature feels when you're actually just like overheated. Like it just felt like a regular shower for me, but like I had no hot water turned on. You know, like the two knobs, it was all cold and it just felt like a regular shower. And it was very, very needed though. I feel like I could have had one of those halfway through the day, but alas, here we are.
I had a nice chat with Briggs today. That was fun. He's doing well.
He coming back?
Does he still speak English? I feel like he just speaks like a different language now.
You know, definitely some English in there. He's gonna be living like in a campsite for the next month, I think. So he's not coming back anytime soon. But I told him about Avengers and how that all got announced. Told him all this good stuff and told him what games are coming out. So he was pretty excited about some of those things. So who knows?
Nice.
Maybe at some point when he has a stable internet connection and a microphone, maybe he'll come back again.
Are any of those things? Was there one that piqued his interest more than the other? You know.
I mean, he was intrigued by 2 Avengers movies getting announced. Obviously, obviously he was there for the big train ride for Infinity War Endgame. But I know he didn't love Shang-Chi, so I don't know if he was necessarily excited about the director pick, but I think he's open to it still. And then he was excited for like Midnight Suns because obviously he's a big Marvel guy, but he also huge XCOM guy, so he's excited for that. So yeah, there's a few things that I was surprised. He was asking me about Oppenheimer, but I hadn't watched the trailer yet, so I'm like, sorry man, I have no breakdown for you, but it looks cool, I guess. So yeah, I don't know. There seems to be some things he's interested in.
Did you not get yours before Nope, Dylan? Your Oppenheimer trailer?
I did, but it was like literally 10 seconds. Like
it
was not. I mean, even this trailer, we'll get into it. It's there's not a ton there, but
yeah,
I whatever I got before Nope was very very short.
Yeah.
That's how you kill time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. I had this thing, the link wouldn't populate before. I was trying to share it to everybody. But yeah, this is 507. We got lots of stuff right now. This week was just the retro week. We had Megamind popping off. We had some Predators popping off, stuff like that. Next week, you'll be getting some. I think this weekend is when the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings drop for people.
Nice.
And then the other Hobbits will be dropping soon. So tons of stuff. Praise next week. So that's going to be lots of fun. If you got a couple more days, you can go to Pin Post or the Patreon, send in your questions for the GV Better Half questions. That's for all our significant others. They're going to be on a cast together. That's going to be lots of fun. That's recording Sunday. Probably drop like the Monday or Tuesday for patrons and stuff like that. So look over that. August 1st, you're getting your almost daily dose of Travis, an hour every Monday to Thursday. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to those days where there's absolutely nothing to talk about, and the chat is just going to hopefully get me through it. But no, we're doing a little experiment. I'm off for 5 weeks. So that, you know what? I'm going to sit in this chair. Hopefully it's going to be cooler, so I won't be sweating gallons in here and stuff. It's going to be in the middle of the afternoon. But yeah, 3 p.m. PST every Monday and Thursday. And everything's still the same. We're still doing GeekVerse episodes, reviews, all that stuff. Bullet Trains next week. Praise next week. Lots of good stuff. And to keep with all that, follow our social media. And the best way to listen is Patreon because you get all those episodes ad free. You can get some early, get some exclusive, like the GV Better Halves cast. You get that exclusive. After 9 will be happening. There'll be a bread and butter, I'm sure, next month. And all that support that you do comes back into us, and we create more content, more episodes, more shows, etc. So we thank you very much for your support for this in the past month and year and future, whatever it is. Thank you for being around. Thank you for being you, listeners. And yeah, that's it. We'll get into this because we got a lot of topics that really yesterday. Like we had enough for a newscast. I was like, okay. I'm always looking for like 4 topics. If people want to hear the fourth wall breaking, I got the main topic, and then you need about 3. You know, that's kind of the good barometer and whatnot. And I had that already planned out, but then today it's like, boom, Feige's talking. Boom, Jason Momoa's talking. Boom, Ana de Armas is talking. You know, like lots of people were talking and stuff like that. So we got lots of things. And Ed Taylor will be joining us at some point. He's dealing with a cat thing that we're going to talk about. Let's see. I will. No, S-Bubs, I dropped the ball today on Patreon. Usually I post all the topics and everything, which is fine because they ended up.
There was an S-Bubs question in the doc.
I thought there was.
No. There was preemptively because I asked just people's thoughts on Comic-Con and stuff like that in general a few days ago. But then I usually, every time there's a news episode posted, which is fine because a bunch of the news would have been out of date because we had more topics to add. But I went to do it, and then I realized that I never hit post. Never hit post at 8 a.m. So that was my fault, patrons. So I dropped the ball there. That's all in trust now. I'll try and do better. Good start for the solo cast. But yeah, we'll talk about Oppenheimer versus Barbie because I definitely want to talk about Oppenheimer, like that release date, because I think it's pretty bold. But we'll get there. You know what's pretty bold? It's saying in 2017 that you're done playing a character and you come back not once, not twice, but now thrice, 3 times. So, you know, just like last week, we were like, man, I feel like we talked about this a bunch. I feel like we've talked about this a few times, but now it's the reverse, where I feel like we've been here for 7 years, so about 4.5 years. I feel like the first 4.5 was all about, Affleck looking like he's out. Looking like he's never going to play Batman, all this stuff, all those good things, right? Now the other half is just, it keeps popping up because the timeline is you got Justice League 2017. That happens. That's a shit show, right? We don't need to cover that. Everything that happened, Ben Affleck was done with it. He's over it. Snyder Cut gets announced, and Ben Affleck goes, you know what? I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back one more time, film a few scenes, close this out. And to me, that was warranted. Even though he had said he was done, it's like, okay, that makes sense. He's going to come back. Him and Snyder are friends, close out this character. Cool. There we go. And then all of a sudden they announce, he's going to be in the Flash movie. And then there were these rumors of like, he's in the Flash movie because they're going to kill off his character. It's like, okay, well, I guess that kind of makes sense because they're going to kill him off and move forward. Now, there has been rumors that is not the case, that it might leave the door open for Ben Affleck. But still, like, okay, it sounded like it was a Hannibal-esque ending where it's like the door's closed, but still like peeked open a little in case you wanted to kick it open again, right? And then here we go, Jason Momoa. And I guess the reason he announced this today is because there's this funny video he posted on Instagram where I guess Ben Affleck has a trailer. It just said BA and then Nurkos. And Nurkos is like the working title for Aquaman 2, like the secret thing. But it's on the Warner Brother lot. There was a tour going around with like just random people. And I guess that while this tour was going on, they saw Ben Affleck and Jason Momoa walking out and everything like that. So that's how he posted, like, secret's out and stuff. He even filmed the reactions after, like, you fuckers, and he's like, sorry kids, like, very fun. Momoa, he's always charismatic. So he gets to his Instagram, which you can see from the thumbnail. Taylor did another great I don't know, Dylan, have you seen the car thumbnails before that he's been doing now?
The car thumbnails.
I'll bring it up while you guys are talking. He has this one thumbnail, and now he just keeps, like, the very first one was Joker getting hit by the car because it was about Joker 2 news. So it's just a still from the movie. And I said, do some with Bruce Wayne. He put, like, little Bruce Wayne in the car seat, making it look like he was driving.
Is it like a car scene from a famous movie?
Just Joker. And then every time he photoshops something new into the car. So now it's the Instagram post. But that is what came out today, that Aquaman 2, I think it's the Lost Kingdom or Lost City. It's Lost Kingdom. Lost City was that Sandra Bullock movie. That's coming out in March, but apparently Ben Affleck is back. He's already filming. They're doing reshoots for some stuff right now, or had already done reshoots. He's all Ben Affleck, like Batman mode. You can see him in the suit. He has the Batfleck hair and everything. But yeah, Batfleck is back for the 3rd time here. Kirklin, I'm going to start with you. What do you take from this? Because again, this is a guy that was out, but then, I'm going to do a little here, do a little there, do a little there. And now, like, we got Michael Keaton coming back. We got Pattinson coming back. And now, within these next 14 to 15 months, Ben Affleck's back. So we're getting 3 different live-action Batmans. And Ben Affleck was always back for The Flash, but that was filmed, I think, a little while back ago. So it was like, okay, that's it for it. But no, he's here. So 1, are you excited? But 2, why do you think there's any reasoning for him to be here in Aquaman 2?
Yeah, I am excited. I quite like Ben Affleck's Batman. I feel like the more I watch it, the more I do appreciate it. I'll call myself out here. I definitely was hesitant to like when he was initially casted. It's like, oh, Ben Affleck. Like I just saw him as so many different things, and mostly just being Ben Affleck. It was tough for me to like give him the Bruce Wayne moniker, but I was definitely wrong about that. I think he's a fantastic Bruce Wayne, also a great Batman, and a little bummed that like what we got already. I guess the last thing I saw him in would have been Zack Snyder's Justice League, and like he was great in that, and then it was just kind of upsetting that I wasn't gonna get anything further from that. Out of like everything, honestly, from that movie, I'm kind of upset that we're not getting more. But alas, I kind of just accepted it. So this news is, I feel like, really surprising. Honestly, I feel like I just kind of like cleaned my hands with that fact that he was just done and like he's never gonna be back, and there's not really a big reason like for him to like it. I feel like they were able to move forward with just DC without him, if that makes any sense. Like we got Robert Pattinson as Batman now. Like I know it's a different like universe technically, but still, like I'm not waiting for a Batman because I already have my Batman as
there's no
Robert
hole.
Pattinson's. No, exactly. But I don't know. Like, and then like for why this could be the case, I feel like maybe Ben Affleck is just in like a lot better place than where he was in like the last stages of. Cause like what he was doing
recently
reshoots.
married. Yep.
Yeah, he's recently married now. He's in maybe Jennifer Lopez is getting in his ear, get him all happy again. Get back in that bat suit. But yeah, I feel like maybe just overall like he's just in such a better place in his own life to like be able to want to come back to do this. Cause I just remember hearing those stories like when they were doing reshoots and he was in the middle of like. What was it, like rehab or something? Or,
yeah.
Like it was a bad
alcoholism,
it was a bad situation. So the fact that he would even want to come back tells me that that he's probably just in such a better place mentally and like in his own life. So that's just happy to hear all around, because it's not like Ben Affleck needs money. It's not like he needs this role to do this. Like it really is him like reaching out to want to do it. I feel obviously Warner Brothers and stuff would want him to, but still I feel like it's a big
set. Like, I guess just
did the Mahershala Ali thing. It's like I'm Batman.
I want to be Batman again.
You already were.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I feel like out of everything in this story, I'm taking it that like Ben Affleck is just doing better now. So I'm thumbs up with that.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Before I can make my other point, that this is the thumbnail I was talking about here. So every time he puts a character, and then he puts a car like about to hit them, and this time he has Ben Affleck and Jason Momoa from the Instagram post together there. So
and we're assuming that's
Yaya's in the middle. Yeah, that's Yaya.
Right.
So there you go. So that's going on there, but.
Okay.
Yeah, I think like Kirklin, you're right as far as, like I said, I said that before. Snyder one made sense. The Flash one, it was at once like some send off that made sense, but then it was like this makes no sense as far as he doesn't need to do this money wise or character wise or anything like that. So, and I don't know what the plan is. Obviously, we gotta wait till we see Flash. That's doing this whole like reboot thing and everything, but. It doesn't, even if you were to have Ben Affleck's Batman get his head cut off and they threw it to a shark. Like Luke Skywalker says, no one's ever really gone. Like look at No Way Home. A bunch of those villains died, and then it was like, oh well, the multiverse pulled them out like right before they died, so this is how they're in this movie. Like all it takes is some writer to be like, you know what? Nah, Ben Affleck's Batman's back. Now I don't think it's back a full-time thing. I do find it very odd and curious that it keeps happening. And I am happy because like I love him as Batman. He's not my favorite Batman, but he was the best thing about BVS. I think Kirkland's right. He is in a better place now to do this stuff. And maybe it's just fun because it is smaller roles and doesn't have to take on. He's not going to get asked, hey, are you directing Batman? Because I watched it again today with Emily, the 2.5-minute video on YouTube of Ben Affleck's tired of talking about Batman. It's just people asking him like, oh, the script, is it ready? Like he's not going to get that because there's other Batman movies being made by Pattinson and Reeves, right? So it's not gonna be like, oh, you're directing another Batman. So it is odd, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's just because he's always loved the character of Batman. He played Daredevil because he was told, you know what, they're probably not gonna make another Batman for a while. This is your best shot to do something very similar to Batman. That's the reason he did it. And this dude had a fucking Batcave built in his house. Like he's a massive fan, so it's good to see it back. It's just interesting from their point of view, like. if there's not a full-on future with him, just even as like a supporting character, why keep bringing him back? Because you do always stoke the flames of that fan base, because this right away gets people riled up again, the good and bad fans of that, you know, like it's just right away there's that hope. And it's just so funny that fucking last week we had Comic-Con where everyone's hoping Henry Cavill is going to be announced, and since 2017 there's been nothing. But now Ben Affleck, who didn't even want to do Batman anymore, Henry's like, yeah, I can't wait to play Superman. Ben Affleck's like, I'm done with this. Ben Affleck's been back 3 times now. Now obviously it's because Ben Affleck's a big star, but it's just funny where Henry, everyone's waiting, everyone wants it. Ben Affleck's like, yeah, I'll come back again. But Dan, I know you weren't the biggest fan of Ben Affleck's Batman, but what do you take from? Do you think this is just him having some fun? Do you think this is them testing waters? Because we're going to talk about this in another subject that they just had a big executive sign on. This is new leadership again, so it's not who he dealt with last time. It's a new owner, new crop of crew. So it's kind of a new deck he's playing with right now, or I guess he's kind of a card, a new deck that he's been shuffled in, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, I guess first off, I feel like I've been very checked out of DC for a while here. I watched Suicide Squad last year, but that kind of felt like its own standalone thing. I know they've already blown it out. Now there's a Peacemaker show and all that, but a little bit behind on things. And so, Travis, as usual, you always do great setting these topics up and giving all the information, because I didn't even know that he had done reshoots for Snyder Cut. I did not know that he was confirmed to be in Flash. So, I mean, by the time those two things, or I guess by the time Flash is out and Aquaman 2, will he have been the Batman who's been in the most live-action movies then? Because he was in BVS. I think you
might be right.
He was in. Was he in Squad technically?
Yep. He was in a couple
that
scenes
was him,
there.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, and then obviously like two Snyder cuts.
Partridge
what
in
else?
the Pear Tree.
Justice.
So Justice League. So yeah, even if it's just that Justice League, and then it's gonna be Aquaman first, and then Flash. That's 5. Bale did 3. Pattinson's doing 3. Keaton's done 3. Yeah, technically probably the person that played him most was like Adam West, because he did the TV show back in the day, and like that was lots of seasons. But as far as movies go, live action, Ben has the crown right now, which is kind of funny.
But it's also funny to say that by the time those other 2 movies are out, he might still have like the least screen time out of all of them.
100%.
Much more diluted. So that'll be an interesting thing that, you know, if you look at cinema history, Ben Affleck has been, you know, in the most things. So
that's a fun trivia question. Who has been like on screen for the most amount of minutes? Because someone would think, if they've not seen all the Batman movies, like, oh, Ben Affleck was in 5, but he wasn't in all of them. But he was in a lot of BVS and a lot of Justice League. Because like BVS is his movie, and Justice League, he's in it still quite a bit. So that'd be fun to even compare to the other one. Somebody, S-Bubs, crack us those numbers. You don't have to. I'm joking. But
I'm sure
day.
Someone has. There's huge Batman fans out there into crunching those kind of numbers. I don't know if this necessarily gets me excited for Aquaman 2. And I don't know, like on a personal level, I don't know for him why he's choosing to come back. But I mean, my initial thought, like you mentioned how much he loves that character and wanted to play that character. So that is enough of a reason. But I also think they probably hand him a pretty solid paycheck to do this too. So not that he needs more money necessarily, but still, I don't know. I think that could be a big reason why, because like how much is he going to be in Aquaman 2? Probably not a lot. That's like, oh man, I'm so happy I'm playing Batman again for recording, you know, in the studio for 3 days to film all my scenes.
Yeah.
But, you know, if it comes with a pretty hefty paycheck, that's pretty good for him. So
he's got to pay for the wedding. You know, he just got married. I'm sure it wasn't. Actually, no, they just got married in like Vegas, him and J-Lo or something like that. So it wasn't anything.
I didn't know that happened. I mean, I'm not keeping up with who was getting married to who. But
do you know the whole J-Lo and Ben Affleck thing? Like the story?
I thought Ben Affleck was dating Anna de Armas. That's where I'm at. Like, I don't know what's going on.
He was, but no, J-Lo and him were engaged like back in 2003. Like way long. Yeah, now they're married and everything like that. It's a full circle. Yeah.
Interesting.
But I don't know, because people talk like why, from Warner Brothers' perspective, would they do this? Because it is smart. Because anybody that's a Snyder fan that might be disappointed in the direction, you get them back right away, because that's like their Batman, right? Some people that won't accept any other Batman, they're gonna pay to see a 5-minute, maybe 10-minute scene with him. I don't even know he'll be in the suit, because clearly I feel like in that photograph he is just looking like Bruce Wayne, and that's enough. And I think it's just even for promotion. I know there's been lots of chatter, and I agree to an extent. It's a tricky conversation, because you have 2 movies right now when you got Ezra and they're in one, and then you got Amber Heard and Aquaman, and lots of people will be like, how do you market that? Because obviously there's a lot of bad turmoil there, and I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but adding Ben Affleck as Batman is never a bad thing to your marketing, whether it's on a poster, whether it's a trailer. Like, it's even like the first Aquaman, biggest DC movie of all time, let's say this even beats that, Ben Affleck will still add like even a couple more butts in the seat of, oh, Batman's in here. And I think it is smart that if he's in Flash, this like sets up him and Aquaman, and he's in Flash. And let's say Flash is a good buy. It almost like gives him a few more appearances in the universe. So maybe if let's say it is like a sad goodbye, you actually feel it, opposed to, hey, for some of the general audience, they haven't seen this dude since 2017. It's not like Tony, where we've seen him the past 5 years doing all this. For if you didn't see the Snyder Cut, you haven't seen him in 5 years. It'll be 6 years. Oh my God. It'll be 6 years by the time the Flash and Aquaman come out. So it's like this will build him up a little bit more, and I'm interested. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, as question on Michael Keaton, is he just confirmed to do the one movie? And do you guys think he's just going to do the one movie, or is he coming back for more stuff?
So he's already in 3.
Oh my God.
He is. So
what's the deal there in a brief way?
So he's in the Flash. They've made a Batgirl movie, and he's in Batgirl as her mentor.
Oh, okay.
And then there is rumors, and I'll say heavy rumors, he is also in Aquaman as well.
Man, so him and Affleck then are going to have this battle for who's been in the most movies.
Yeah, that's
probably why he came back. He's got to win this battle.
You're actually thinking about that, because Keaton was in the 2, but
there was just 2 back in the day with him.
Yeah,
starring?
But they'll actually be tied when we're talking about with those other 3. They'll be at 5 apiece.
So when you counted that, was Snyder Cut like a 0.5 for you, or no extra point? Because
that's
tricky,
tough, because I still count it as one
releases.
Yeah, there's several. I count it as one movie, but at the same time, he did like 3 years later come back and film more stuff for it. So it's like it's definitely like a 0.5 and stuff like that.
It's like Naughty Dog releasing Last of Us and then like a few years later doing the full remake for it. It's like it's pretty much the same thing. Again, what are you doing here? Just a couple new scenes, looking better, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I know, and still charging $80 or whatnot, you know. But don't worry, I'm not buying that. And so I will say, for anybody that wants to not know anything for sure, and these are just rumors about Aquaman, I'd say skip 5-7 minutes. So Fanboy Clyde did put a comment in there, and I wanted to address it. So here's your little chance here. All right, we're going. So rumor is that Keaton Affleck switched in the role of Aquaman. And so the idea apparently was in Aquaman that Keaton's character is supposed to maybe be this guy that, there's a comic book, a very popular comic book in DC, one of the biggest storylines, called Infinite Crisis. It's kind of like their Secret Wars, where multiple universes are crashing together and all this sort of deal. And the idea that sounding like Keaton's Batman was supposed to be maybe like the warning, supposed to be like, hey, something bad's going on here. The rumor is when they screened Aquaman 2, and all the not all notes, but lots of the notes, people were saying they were very confused about the Keaton stuff, because Crisis on Infinite, or what did I call it? Did I just call it Crisis? What did I call
Infinite Crisis.
Oh, thank you, Clay. But there's rumors that they didn't understand what was going on, because obviously Aquaman's in one universe, and all of a sudden Keaton's in here talking to him like, oh, something's going on. Now, do I think they're going to entirely take Keaton out of Aquaman? No, because I think that's a good marketing thing, and plus they already paid Keaton for it. I just think they might have something cool where you got Ben Affleck's Batman, where maybe before Aquaman goes on his adventure, he's talking about like, oh, I'm getting these readings, like something's going on. And then it's tailed in with Michael Keaton's Batman also saying, yeah, something's going on. You kind of get that, oh, there's multiple Batmans. It could be confusing for people that are the general audience, but at the end of the day, I don't think, like I said this to Clay and Heinz when we were talking about it, people were fucking confused about Thanos in 2012, but it didn't matter as long as the execution after the fact. So I get why people might be confused, like, why is Michael Keaton's Batman here if they're not following any news? But I think once you get promotion, trailers, stuff like that, you can easily cut that confusion away and stuff. And I don't think that's the full reason why they brought Affleck back, but maybe, I don't know. But we're joined by Taylor Field here, and we're getting his thoughts after this first ad break. And we're back. Taylor, how's it going?
It's going good. The cat is here successfully. She's
nice,
loving life.
Now I saw.
What's the cat's name? Cat
Rue.
name yet? Woo?
Rue.
Rue, yeah.
Rue, are you?
Big Euphoria fan over here.
I was gonna say, yeah. Why did you go with Rue? That's what I
didn't.
thought.
Madison chose the name, bestowed it onto her, since I picked the last name Parker for the other one.
Okay, where'd she get it from?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Pooh Bear.
You didn't even ask her. You didn't even like, why'd you think of this name?
Just roll with it, yeah.
Yeah. I'll ask you those questions in a second or two, but I think it could be the first DC movie with more than one post-credit scene. Yeah, and then, yeah, I agree with you that it would be Ben and Keaton kind of maybe separating them. And SBUB says if the GAC's keen, they'll get hype even if they're a bit confused. And I agree with that. Like, I think that'd be classic Warner Brothers. Like, oh, they're confused by this, but it's not gonna matter because Keen is gonna build up that hype. But Taylor, we talked about a lot while you're gone. We talked about Affleck being back and with the scene. So what do you take from this?
Yeah, it's weird. It's just I just recall that moment when he was like hanging the bat suit up and he's like, I'm no longer Batman, and now he's just,
they put it up on Kimmel.
Yeah, now he's just in everything, like the Flash and this, and yeah, it's bonkers. So I think it's cool. I think again, the whole Keaton thing, when you have Keaton appearing, I like how I was supposed to put it. Like they'll be confused, but it'll be an excited confused. They won't know why they're confused, but they'll be excited. So I think that's good. But it's cool that we're in an age actually where there are like 3 Batmen. And like it's peculiar because we've always had just that one. They've tackled one story at a time, one iteration. But to have all these different timelines kind of converging is neat. And I think it's cool that Ben Affleck is still kicking around to do it because I think a lot of people, including myself, we really kind of latched on to him as Batman because he's already a seasoned veteran hero of Gotham City at this point in time when we get to Batman versus Superman, and just really having
just a V in there.
Just a V?
Yeah, just a V, no verses.
Batman v Superman?
Yeah. Did you not know that?
I honestly thought it was verses. I didn't realize.
Oh,
that's a first.
Almost. But, what is it? 7, 8 years later, big epiphany.
Mm-hmm. Aside from that film, then we just got him in a little bit of a cutscenes in Suicide Squad, and that wasn't really enough to kind of really flesh out his character either. Justice League, the Whedon version, didn't really give us that again. It was just much more of a flamboyant, like his dark deeds are all over in the past, and now he's just super like he's happy kind of now. But
he was pretty checked out for that movie too. He didn't give a shit about that movie. He
said
it. He's been on record and said it was the worst thing of his career being a part of that Joss Whedon cut. So.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, in the Snyder cut, I definitely feel like a bounce back at least there, and extra footage, all that cool stuff. But again, it wasn't enough to really go in. We've got all these little different perspectives with his character, but I'm just excited to have him now in another crossover, just to see to what scale or is he going to appear in Aquaman 2. Like, how much screen time is he going to have? I don't know if they've hinted anything else aside from Instagram photos with each other.
No, it just happened today, so I don't think that. No,
not a full reveal.
No. Okay. Do you think this is just a hey, add a little more into this movie, or do you think there's anybody that should read into? Oh, maybe we're gonna get more after Flash.
Like we cut Amber Heard, so we're gonna put Ben Affleck in instead.
In the same role, he's just playing Mara.
He's
playing Mara. Fuck, I'd love to see that cut, the Affleck cut. No, but do you think this is just maybe another one-off because this is before they're gonna do a soft reboot, or do you think it's kind of anything's on the table? He could easily be back again for something because we've had this rigmarole a few times now, as far as since 2017.
I think he could. I think anything's on the table right now. I think he could be totally just back on board. Like, I think once he saw Robert up in the bat suit, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna put the cowl back on. I'm gonna dance with this guy. Let's see who the real Batman is.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna first name basis with him, is he? Hey Robert, I saw you up there.
They're gonna rip off No Way Home and just do Pattinson, Keaton, and Affleck all together.
There you go.
There's something about that. See, there's something about that as a Batman guy just seeing that together. I'm like, I think that's a recipe for disaster. I think that's just like having 3 Batmans together might be even me as a Batman guy, I'd be excited, but like there's some of the Spider-Man because they can work together and they can be friendly. This would just be a whole bunch of I don't fucking trust this guy. Like,
so but it's like, what year did your parents die?
Yeah. It would just I don't think it would be fun like the 3 Batmen together because it's just like they're not fun characters. He's always mopey and stuff. Like if Pattinson be like, how many people you guys killed? Like I haven't killed anybody. Like what's going on? And then Taylor, my final question about this topic is how long when you heard about Ben Affleck and Momoa did you have this thumbnail in mind? Was it right away or?
It was right away. I was like, I've been waiting to just whip this out. There were a few occasions where I thought I'm gonna just pull this out, but yeah, I thought this is great. I need to see who's gonna be like running from the car this time. It's gotta be Black Manta, and yeah, just the 2 of them in the window together. That's like just perfection.
So now you've had 3 separate Bruce Waynes in the car. You've had the little Bruce Wayne from Joker. You have Keaton Bruce Waynes, and now Affleck's. You're just dying to put Pattinson in one of these cars.
I need some Batman 2 news, and then Pattinson's going to be in that car. You can count on that.
Oh man, well. There you go. That's gonna happen. Espo says make a Marvel versus DC movie, but it's Toby and Andrew and Tom versus Keaton, Affleck, and Pattinson. Oh boy, I don't like the Spider-Man's chances against a bunch of mass murderers because Affleck and Keaton are just serial killers. They don't give a shit. But yeah, anything else? This movie comes out in March, so I imagine, which we'll probably talk about in a question below, because I know people already like, why didn't they announce this at Comic-Con? I don't know if Momo is jokingly saying this, but he did make it sound like it was going to leak. So he's like, I'm just going to put it out there. But maybe it's something they could have put out at Comic-Con. If they knew it was happening, they could have put that photo on screen, and man, that would have turned a lot of people's happiness around. Like just even that photo, and you would have got that cheer. But you know what? We're going to talk about another topic here with Fandome possibly happening. But anything on this main topic here? Going once, going twice, sold to the lady in the white gloves. Let's talk about, I'm changing it a little bit because it's already Warner Brother DC related, so we'll tackle these ones. So today it was announced that Alan Horn is coming back to Warner Brothers, and we got a few things to talk about here. But Alan Horn, so he's somebody that he was with Warner Brothers for quite a while, and he was considered to be in the kind of best era, the best executive. He was one of the headers of the Harry Potter franchise. He was the head of the Dark Knight trilogy. Hobbit trilogy, but still made billions of dollars, stuff like that. And like you can go look at his producing credits, just tons, like a murderous row of great films that he produced. 2011 rolls around, they say, hey, Alan Horn, you're too old, we want to go in the youth movement, so you're out of here. So he retired, and this is the story. He went to a beach, and then Bob Iger, who was running Disney, went to him and talked him out of retirement. So like, I'm doing this whole thing with Disney. And again, if you look at it, Alan Horn was the top producer along, like he was one of the people that Feige reported to. He was part of the whole Star Wars acquisition. He was part of the whole MCU like building and everything like that. And then Bob Iger retired, and then he left. And Alan Horn was also one of the guys too that, I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was a moment where we've talked about this before, where there's a guy named Ike Perlmutter who was like the guy like that was sharing stuff with Feige, and they didn't get along. And he was the guy of like, well, we can't make a Captain Marvel and Black Panther movie because they're not going to sell toys. And eventually Alan Horn is the guy that got all the power to Feige. So this guy's made like tons of monumental, not just films, but decisions, game-changing film decisions in Hollywood. But Bob Iger retired, so he went with him. Well, again, this guy, he was in retirement, but he got talked out by the new owner, David Zaslav, right now. He's coming back as a senior advisor, so not exactly the same role he's in before as like the head of creative, but it's still like a massive get and everything. This, like I said, you look at the guy's resume, and it's going to be interesting. And I don't know how you guys, I don't know much if you guys have much to add on it, but Tia, do you have any perspective on, you know, you had this guy who was a part of a big era as far as with DC or just Warner Brothers in general is going. Then he jumps over to Disney and all great things happen there. All these films happen and people say, oh, he's one of the best executives in the world. And now you got this new owner of Warner Brothers bringing this guy back, which is, again, funny that, you know, what was it, 11 years ago, told he was too old, and now he's 11 years older and he's back at Warner Brothers doing a similar thing. Do you have any thoughts on this as far as like, are you feeling a bit more, I don't know, maybe optimistic about the future of just not even DC, but Warner Brothers in general? Because they got a lot of great franchises there with Potter, and they had Lord of the Rings at one point. They don't anymore. But with DC and stuff, you know, like...
I'm wondering how they blackmailed him. Like, how'd they get him out of retirement? Like,
I don't think they blackmail him. I just think it's a big fat check. It's the easiest blackmail of like, hey, do some work and we'll pay you some money. It's like, all right, okay, sure.
You get blackmailed every day.
Yeah, I wish I got blackmailed to his amount though.
I mean, he's clearly doing good things, and I mean, the trajectory they're on, they were doing the wrong things, so now they want to do those good things, and having his creative input is, I mean, valuable. Like, definitely get him on the chairman of the board, get him whatever rank he wants, and just
I don't even know if they have a chairman of the board over there. I don't know how that works.
So who was he, like, replacing someone's position? Did they have like a
no? He's just an advisor.
Conversation?
No. He's just an advisor. So because right now they have these two. There's a man and lady that are kind of. They're looking at a bunch of studios, but the sound is as always. But the rumor is that Warner Brothers wants a Feige, like they want DC Studios to happen, and this guy's not going to run it, but this guy could be a part of that decision of who is going to start running DC, who's going to be that Feige that is the be all end all. Some people have this conspiracy theory that they're doing this to get Feige, which I don't believe, but that did happen. That did, but no. The reason there's warrant to that is because in all this time when Feige and Ike Perlmutter were fighting in 2015, Feige did have conversations with Warner Brothers about jumping ship. He pondered the idea. So people have thought because the new guy, Bob Chapek, and Feige apparently are like butt heads a little bit, and he's taken some powers away. Like, it started just stuff like Feige apparently did not want to show any of those Doctor Strange cameos in any of the marketing. But Chapek was like, no, we're showing them all. We're going to show Xavier. And so apparently that's when people's conspiracy, which it's not a... If it didn't come out that he didn't talk to them in 2015, I go, nah. But the fact that he talked to him after Age of Ultron, I'm like, oh, I could maybe work with you. That's the scary thing. If you got this guy, Alan Horn, who was good friends with Feige, worked with Feige, backed him up, and who knows when Feige's contract's up, and what if that is a play? I don't believe that, but that is some Game of Thrones type of shit of like, hey, let's get this guy to try and get that guy. If they already tried to get Feige once, and if you were trying to get the top dog, why would you not even... If there was even a chance to try and get Feige, why not try it, you know? But I hope
see
not.
him bribing, like, you know, we make sure we pay our special effects artists like so much, you know, we treat them so good over here, like.
Well, and the other big thing was when this all started was with the Black Widow lawsuit, right? Because that was all Feige was all Team ScarJo on that, of like they were supposed to be paid all this stuff, and Chapek was like, oh no, we don't need to pay them for this digital release, like they got paid already and they're happy. So they've already had a few kind of dalliances as far as I think people were safe until Secret Wars. After Secret Wars is when I'd worry, unless we hear about a big extension. But I think because he has that, we're good to go. But yeah, what about you, Dylan? What do you think about maybe just in general of them they're going back to somebody that used to use, but you know, you look at those Harry Potter Dark Knight years, those were some of their biggest years, and now they're trying to maybe make some more foundations as far as like a DC Studios. Hell, you could maybe even get like a Potter studio. I don't think they're going to do a Potter studio, but maybe you could get someone that's going to be hey, they're working, that's their job, right, is to do this. Where usually it's been one person's job is to look after everything Warner Brothers. The new idea is we want people to look after animation. We want people to look after the DC characters. Right. So,
yeah, I think, I mean, right off the top, these things move very slowly. So even with him getting in there, you know, by the time he gets caught up on everything and, you know, whatever they're currently working on gets released and like his input would be seen, like that's going to be a few years, and like is he going to be around for a few years? Like is his contract like okay, you're with us for 3 years, he takes
I thought you were going
leaves?
Really dark there for a second.
Well, what?
Well, because he's an older guy. Is he going to be around in a few years?
I looked at a picture, he looks like he's like 50 or something.
Yeah,
like, I don't think he's that old.
He looks younger than what he is.
I don't know. That's not what I was going for.
Yeah, no, I was just checking. I was just laughing.
Yeah, when I saw this, I thought of Reggie. So Reggie was with Nintendo of America forever, and then he retired. And then like a few years later, he's like, I'm joining GameStop as an advisor, consultant, sitting on the board. And he did that for like a couple of years. Didn't do anything noticeable. In fact, GameStop's gotten worse in that time. He took his money and run. And so, I mean, it's a different story here, obviously, because Alan Horn's worked with them before, and presumably still a lot of people there are people he knows and are friends with, and to some extent, if he wanted to come back, I'm sure that's part of it. So yeah, I don't know. I think we could revisit this in like 2 years and see what's going on then. But yeah, I mean, I think it is a good sign in theory. I'm basing all this off the information you just gave us. So you know, assuming you're done your due diligence, which I think you know your stuff when it comes to this stuff. So, but I personally don't know about this guy. I don't really know much about like movie exec people. So it's hard for me to have too much of a personal stake in this, I suppose. But everything you're saying, it sounds like this guy's made of gold, so like it sounds like a good thing that they got him.
Well, he must be made of gold because you think he looks 50. Dylan, this man is 79. He looks pretty good.
Okay, maybe the picture I saw is like an old
really
picture.
Good.
Let me look at a new pic.
I saw it not too long ago one, and he definitely does not look 79.
Well, I think when you're making this much money and you can just hang out at the beaches and stuff like that when you're not making movies.
Okay, yeah.
At the beaches,
a
I feel
couple
like the
pictures.
sun is what ages your skin. This guy's taking care of his skin. He's lotioning and doing all that stuff.
But yeah, I agree with Dylan that I think this is like it's a good move. It's a good thing to put out there because I think it gets people. There's actually some excitement for future Warner Brothers stuff. I think Dylan's right. That's a few years away before you see the actual input. But even if this guy was around for 2 years and kind of lays out like a plan or like this is what you should do and then leaves, like his information would probably be valuable. So same thing you do, or Kirklin. I know there's not too much to add here, but what do you take away from this? You hate Alan Horn? You look at him, you're like, this guy's gonna ruin DC.
Alan Horn?
Yeah,
I don't
like
think
he's gonna
so.
ruin DC. I hated the Hobbits. I didn't watch them.
I haven't seen The Hobbits, so I can't judge them without seeing them. I think it's just funny whenever there's an instance. It doesn't happen often, but if ever there's an instance where someone just gets like kicked out, it's like, no, we don't need your ideas anymore, and then things just aren't going well. It's like, hey, come back to us. We got some good stuff to work with you on. So it's just kind of funny. And yeah, like I don't know. I just trying to picture what it would have been like in his shoes, like just seeing things the way they were going, like after he leaves, and it's just like, oh yeah,
he's over here acquiring Star Wars, making the MCU, like helping produce like the end game, all this shit, and just Warner Brothers like, well, we dumped $300 million into Justice League.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know. I'm picturing also like when they actually just got rid of him. I just picture Norman in Spider-Man 1. Just like you're out, Norman. It's like after everything I sacrificed.
Am I?
Out am I? God, I love that movie. But yeah, like on the business side of it, I'm usually out of my element here, Donnie, on that subject. So I don't have much more to add as opposed to just memes and fun jokes here and there.
Well, then, because we'll just throw us in here to do with, because this is something, obviously, Comic-Con happened last week for DC, maybe not the biggest. So, Espo asked 2 questions here, but I'm going to kind of throw them as like a 2 for together, because I feel like we can both answer them. He says, do you think DC fandom will happen this year, or is it too late? And he also says, do you think next year they'll go big at San Diego Comic-Con because they got lots of slated projects that have been released? So, like, next year they got, well, Aquaman are already been out, but they'll have Flash, they'll have Blue Beetle, they'll have Batgirl, stuff like that. So, one, Kirkland, do you think we're getting Fandome? The last 2 years happened once in August and once in October. And then 2, do you think next year's going to be a banger Comic-Con, or do you think we're still, same thing like this Alan Horn thing, do you think we're maybe a few years off for that to happen? Maybe they got to rally the troops a bit more.
Sorry, for DC Fandom, did you say that they waited a year? Like there was like every 2 years they did it?
No. Sorry, maybe I said that.
Or 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row. The first year was August. The second year was in October.
And did they like stop for COVID or something? Or no?
No, they started because COVID.
We did.
So,
we covered this. Never mind.
Covered. Come on, man. Where have you been?
It's been a long
time.
It
all melts together.
Yeah, I don't see why there wouldn't be. Honestly, if one was in August, one's in October. Does that mean one's going to be in November or something? I feel like once you get into the Christmassy holiday type months, it's kind of bizarre to have a show like that. But that being said, when's Video Game Awards? Isn't that kind of around that time? Yeah, December. So I kind of countered my own pitch there. But yeah, for that answer, I guess yes, we will be seeing a DC Fandome. Has there been like murmurs? It's like, oh no, we're not getting one this year. Like why would people think that we probably wouldn't get
just because there's been no word about it at all. There's been they haven't given a date. Now the thing is, the last 2 years have been virtual, so they don't really they get to give a date today and be like, hey, it's on Monday, have some fun. Like they don't gotta prep people. Now if they did with people, which I think they should do, the same way as I still think Marvel should rip off Miss Marvel and do Avengers Con. Like I think that if you could do DC Fandom, I think there's definitely an audience there. But as of right now, there's been no announcement or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah. So I do think we're gonna get something. It'd be awesome too, because I mean, for what was at San Diego Comic-Con, it's pretty forgettable. Other than some Zoa moments. Shouts out to S-Bubs too for that video. I watched the entire thing after our cast last night.
Yes.
It was awesome. It was like I was watching just a nice little like a 20-minute episode of The Office or something. Put on a little 18-minute Zoa montage. God, that was a good time. But so yeah, I think that would be fabulous if they had that. You could maybe, I don't know, does Affleck just come out on the stage too at like DC Fandom if they do it like actually like a physical thing? Yeah, you think so? I asked a question there.
Which part? Which one?
Affleck? Does Affleck come out?
Or people on stage, like people in the crowd?
Well, I guess I can ask a pre-question.
Yes.
Has there been a DC Fandom like not digital, or did they just?
No,
start
there's
in the
only
last
been
few
2.
years?
This man doesn't remember anything. Doesn't remember anything. He doesn't remember sitting in front of a
There's
computer.
too many things going on in my head.
Last year we were at Taylor's house and covered this thing. All of them have been
Yes.
virtual so far.
Okay,
With no
so there you
people
go.
other than the presenters and like, here's The Rock to talk about Black Adam and so
Right.
and
So
stuff like that.
yeah, I could see Affleck going. Hey, I remember Cam Newton. He came out with the Superman hat, so
He did.
or
Fuck.
something.
Oh,
Maybe that's where Affleck comes out. And just more DC things to get people excited. I think yes. That was a very long answer. I apologize to everyone, but I'll pass along there.
I think a fandom will happen. I hope it does. I think the other reason is too because the first one was such a banger, and the second one they kind of dropped the ball in the format, because the first year they gave a schedule and they could tell you what's happening here and there, but then the second year they're just like, we're streaming for 12 hours and just tune in. They didn't tell you when. Yeah, and it was brutal to the point where I was like, we're not going to cover this the same way next year if they do it this way again. Like, we'll meet at the end of the night. We don't got to sit here, even though, with some Zoas maybe be some fun. But like, the thing is, I think it will happen. I don't know why not, especially if it's still just virtual, because you can still promote stuff. I still think October is a good date because that's right before Black Adam. You can pump that out a little bit, talk a little bit more. You can promote Aquaman. You can promote Flash. I know right now they're kind of like scared to promote Flash because of everything going on, but I still think, even if it's next year at Comic-Con, they still have to bring Keaton on stage in front of the fans. Like, it's just like, it's such a missed opportunity if they don't. I'm somebody that still, I believe in the cheer. I know fucking Hines and Fenwick, like, host DC Alliance, just shitting on the Rock, being there in caution with the crowd. It's like, the people, lighten up. Let's have some fun here. So, and I'm not saying Keaton has to be on stage, but just like, and Keaton, all he's done is interviews kind of like, yeah, it's been great to be as Batman. We still haven't got that full, like, why did you come back? Like, how was it really to put on, like, we've gotten little things where he's like, oh, it felt like home and stuff like that, or same old, but like, I still think there's a moment walking him on. It's the same thing like the very first time I think it was for fucking it was for Cowboys versus Aliens. You remember that movie, anybody?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
But
Craig's 007. Yeah.
So no one gave a shit about he did James Bond before, Taylor. Don't even try to do that. No one gave a shit about that movie, but you know why they gave a shit is because they announced Harrison Ford for the first time ever is going to go to Comic-Con. And what happened when he dropped up? When he trotted on the stage,
he collapsed. He had one of those heart attacks
from the roof.
Alan Horn.
He flew in. No, but like when he came on stage, that man got a fucking standing ovation, and that's what you do. You give people their flowers while they exist. You give people everything what they gave back. So I think there is some moments. Fandom, and the good thing is Fandom. Like,
put Alan Horn up there, and the crowd just goes fucking wild.
Yeah. No reaction for Keaton, but Alan Horn is like, we fucking love you, Alan. But like, and the thing about Fandom, they don't just talk about the movies. They talk about the TV shows. They talk about the games. They still have so many fucking shows going on HBO Max. Like Harley Quinn just dropped her season 3 today on HBO Max for the animated stuff. They still got all these things. So I don't know why they don't do it. And Comic-Con next year, I think it will be the same where they'll show off some movies, but I think they're waiting for the Flash to happen, and then I'm not saying they're going to come out and do a big DC slate again, but I think they're going to let some time build up, because that's a better, like I've said this before, I'd rather them wait and let it build up and people be mad that, I just want to hear announcements, but next time we get a slate, it's actually real and not just a bunch of fake dates and fake promises. So if it takes another 2 years to get that banger Comic-Con, we're like, damn, DC has like all these projects coming out, great creatives, can't wait. Sure, take your time. Like I got time. It's the same reason why Marvel should fucking delay their movies and pay their FX people. If Avengers 6 is going to come in 2027, I can wait if it means people don't want to work fucking 18 hours for minimum wage and no overtime, Like, we can wait for this stuff. We're fans. So, Dylan, you think we're getting a Fandome this year, and anything about that?
I will say yes. I guess it sounds like, okay, this was created because Comic-Con didn't exist, and now that Comic-Con's back, they need to do it. But I think, as you mentioned, Travis, the timing is perfect if they do it in early October, because there's Black Adam, and then also Gotham Knights. The game's coming out at the end of October, so that's a good time to show like a big trailer as well.
That's true. I forgot about Gotham Knights.
And then I just was Googling all these dates because I didn't know off the top of my head, but it looks like Shazam is December. Aquaman's in March, and then Flash is June. So, I mean, there's a lot they could show. I don't know how much they want to show more of Black Adam, but I feel like, wasn't that the first Shazam trailer at Comic-Con?
It was, for the public. Yeah, no, it was the first. So I think they showed like a snippet of like Shazam moving, but that was the first teaser of it. So
that's perfect time to do another one there. You put that same trailer before Black Adam. I mean, I guess you could make a case you don't need it at Fandom because you're going to have that movie as well. But, I mean, I just think there's so much in the pipeline here in the next 12 months that it kind of makes sense to do that. They can talk about some of the TV show stuff. I don't know. Video games, like they could show off the Wonder Woman game. Like maybe that's far enough along. They could do that.
I cannot wait for that.
Yeah,
thing.
I'm excited to see that too. Speaking of Wonder Woman, where's Gal? Like, do we know what's going on with another Wonder Woman? Is she coming back at all?
They're supposedly making a third. That's what they've said.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, Ben Affleck confirmation is like good thing there. I'm sure they have some other cast stuff they could show. So I feel like they have a lot right now that just because Comic-Con's back, I think you should keep that momentum going. And yeah, I mean, Comic-Con was light, but you could also make the case that maybe it was because they want DC fandom to be the main place that you go to now.
True.
And ideally, they can be at a point where they are producing so much stuff that they can show off stuff at both events and like have big full slates of things like Marvel's doing. But yeah, I think it'd be silly if they didn't. Like, that's just a great marketing opportunity. Keep that going. Keep it 3 years in a row. Keep that like a thing that people expect every year. And yeah, as you said, early October is like a perfect time frame for it. So I hope they do it. I think it would be good for them.
Yeah, I like these conventions and things like that, you know, more of these big brand things. But like the other thing is we haven't even talked about, probably because it came out this year, is that they're still but they're making a sequel to the Batman. So it's like, I don't think I would expect any news in October, but if there's a time, they're literally going to be filming the Penguin show later on this year, and they've announced that Arkham Asylum show. So it's like, even in that little pocket universe, there could be things to talk about, you know?
Like, is Peacemaker coming back?
Yep, season 2. Yeah, they're about to. I think they're filming right now, actually.
I could see that, like a teaser for that would be perfect. Like, just a funny little clip. That could be great to show there.
They got stuff, and that's where I'd have to find the photo, but someone made like their own MCU like clip or like picture. I'll find out what Taylor's talking, like what DC has coming out. And there's a few projects that are question mark, but it's still like when you look at all the content they're actually producing, it's still like a shit ton. Now it's just because Marvel comes out, it's like, look at all these, we have it till 3 years planned. But when you look at what they got going on, it's still pretty impressive. So Taylor, I ask you, fandom or no fandom? That is the question.
I think there's definitely a fandom. I think they put it on their show at Comic-Con. They were so proud of it. They were happy. And then here comes Feige. He just struts on stage, pops that huge fucking banner timeline, not just for one phase, but 2 fucking phases. I guess finishing off the 3rd phase, 3 fucking phases. And DC, the execs, they're all just...
You're really heated by this.
All the DC execs, they're all just sitting in their chairs like, what the fuck did we do wrong, boys? And so now they gotta redeem themselves. They gotta bounce back. They're calling up Henry Cavill like, Henry, we need to get you out for DC fandom.
He's like, I have COVID. Leave me alone.
Yeah, that's why I'm not coming.
How'd you get this number?
Yeah.
No, I do think that they have to do it. It's just there's still so much. I'm pretty sure I've seen that same photo you're talking about. Holy, what the fuck?
Whoa,
the
what
host
is
is grabbing Travis.
Travis from another universe is patching in right now.
I look like Spider-Verse there, you know, when they're glitching out because of the collider. Let me fix this camera for a second. But here, I will show that image. Clay sent that to me. Thank you, Fanboy Clay. But
like, that's huge.
I saw a different one, but it was very similar to this. And people were just saying like, "Oh, it's a lot of content, but it's just unfortunate it's not all connected in a cohesive storyline."
Like the way you said that was like the most white guy. But here, like down below, there's only a few things like Green Lantern, Satana that are like DC Syndicate that are announced that are kind of like in development. But the rest of the stuff is like happening.
What is Static Shock? Is that
Static
a
Shock?
character?
Yeah, he's somebody that you'd have to look him up. He's a superhero. I think when it happens, he's a hero you're really gonna like. He's I can't remember the name. He's with another studio too. It's like a cross promotion thing. But Michael B. Jordan's producing that movie actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, you look at all this stuff. This year, you got 2 movies out still. You got Titan Season 4, Shazam. You got actually 3 movies. Super Pets comes out today, which I can't wait to see this weekend. Next year, Aquaman, Blue Beetle, Superman Lois Season 3, Sweet Tooth, Peacemaker, Flash, a Superman cartoon, Doom Patrol, Flash Season 9, Batgirl, and then TBD, but still, a Joker sequel, Batman animated show, Wonder Woman 3, The Batman 2, all these Batman spin-offs, Arkham, Static Shock, and James Gunn has said he has 3. This says Untitled James Gunn project. He says he has 3 untitled projects at DC.
Go DC, killing it right now.
He says he has 3
They need all these
things.
Batman. They got so many movies. Throw them out. They get, I got a picture for each of them.
And the Waller series, remember that got announced last month, the Amanda Waller series, which is rumored to be called Checkmate, which I still think is a terrible title. You know, Milestone. Thank you, Clay.
I
That's
fucking
it.
love chess.
Yeah, I'm not even back. Shit, I'm not even back on camera. Shit. Okay. But anyway, so.
Shit.
Why I think Checkmate's a nice title.
Do you hear that? And like, I feel like
I don't think of Amanda Waller.
I don't think of
when I hear
Amanda
that, though.
Waller. That's the only thing.
Someone drops
some
like
chess
Checkmate
villain.
on me. I think, fuck, I'm done.
It's like the sequel to The Queen's Gambit or something. That's what I think of, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But lots of shit coming out.
Good.
That's a fandom right there. Just talk about all that stuff. And again, even if like
just throw that up on screen. Don't say any more details. Just throw that up, and people will get hyped.
12-hour stream of that. Yeah. And even again, like even we got that Batman trailer a few years ago, but even before the project came out, just having Matt Reeves talk about it in depth, like his ideas, inspirations, I'm down for that, So Checkmate is a secret organization in the DCU. So I wonder, they're both saying that. Yeah, but it's like, does that...
It's like the Hydra of the DC world.
I don't know if that still is like I think you might just still be safer to call it Waller. I know it's boring, but I just feel like Waller, you got Viola's face, but we'll see. But let's take another ad break, and then we're going to jump into the other world, and we'll be right back. And we're back. So let's talk a little Marvel. So we just had our Comic-Con last week, and I did not think... Now, these are scoopers getting this news, so that's why this news is happening sometimes. But either way, so it came out, I think it was Tuesday afternoon that Destin Daniel Cretton is going to be directing the Kang Dynasty. If you do not know that name, he is the man that directed Shang-Chi. And this is my favorite time of the year, or favorite time of the month, or favorite time of the week, whenever it is, when I get to drop the hashtag Travis told you. So, no, I do have receipts of this. So I was talking about this from the Marvel Alliance guys, because when we covered it on the Comic-Con panel, we mentioned that quote of Feige saying, the Russos weren't in talk for these movies. And I was like, oh, yeah, sure. But when you watched it, you can tell there's two tones of like we'll see, and very like coy and kind of fun. And then there's like the thing where he like shuts it down right away, and he's very like kind of quiet. And he did that, like, we want to work with them on other stuff, but just not this one. And then he moved on to the next topic. And when I heard it, I was like, that's very odd. Now, of course, I've been saying this since 2018. I want Ryan Coogler. But I said to them, I feel like Destin's the guy, because I won't say everybody, because I'm not in that camp. I think Shang-Chi's like a little overrated, but I feel like the majority of people list Shang-Chi as, if it's not No Way Home, their top project, it's either No Way Home, WandaVision, or Shang-Chi. And I've seen Shang-Chi in so many top 10s and so many like top 5s. So to me, it made a lot of sense when that announcement came out. It's like, you have this movie that, obviously didn't make tons of money, like because of the COVID release and everything like that, but it's one of those that didn't have lots of drops, lots of praise, lots of people loved it. It's some fresh blood. I like that. Now, we don't got the director for 6, and what they did come out, these scoopers saying that is not, the plan is it's not going to be him. It's going to be someone else. So I was going to ask Taylor, but Taylor's suspended animation. Dylan, I'm going to ask you, what do you think about just the Shang-Chi director being the director for Kang Dynasty? And then do you have any thoughts for 6? Do you think they stay in-house, they go out-house? And is there anybody that, don't go out-house, but do you think there's anyone in particular that you're wanting or you could see doing that? So I'll start with you with Avengers 5. What do you think about the director choice?
I think it's a pretty good choice. I think if we look at just this last phase, or I don't know, standout movies from the last few years in the Marvel world, that seems like a great pick for me. I really liked that movie. I think it's got a mix. Like, one, there's just a ton of characters in there. There's, good action scenes. Obviously, the choreography is great, but also just the cinematography of all of it. There's big cinematic, CGI creatures. There's like just people punching each other. So you got that kind of mix of stuff. And, it was a good one because it did throw a lot of other like MCU characters in there. Different than an Avengers team, but still, I feel like he got to play with a lot of different pieces, thinking about the chess example again. And, so I think he's Avengers a pretty good pick. I don't know how I feel about the, him doing part 1 and someone else doing part 2. I guess we'll remain to be seen how connected those two Avengers movies are.
Getting Star Wars flashbacks, Johnson, JJ.
Maybe a little bit. But yeah, I also feel like if they are planning to stick to that timeline of releasing 2 of them in the same year, that could be a lot of work. And I know, like, the tricky thing too is if it's 2 directors, you would think a lot of this like Infinity War Endgame stuff would be filmed all together or back to back, or they'd probably be mixing. Like maybe they'd film an Endgame scene today and an Infinity War scene tomorrow. But obviously you can't really do that if you're working with 2 different directors. No. So they'd have to make it 2 separate things. So I wonder how that would fit for some of it. Even just like, I don't know, the appearance of some actors. You know, they might look a bit different recording one day than like a few months later when they're recording the next thing that's supposed to be directly continuing. So I don't know how big of a deal that is, but
that was their plan with Infinity War and Endgame to film them at the same time. But what they end up doing is just film them back to back immediately. So they did everything for Infinity War and they went to Endgame right away. So I think they will do that. Now it's still odd because that was what two directors started kind of like, okay, we're on this path. But I guess maybe the idea is this director gets that done and he edits that movie and works on it while the other director does the other one. You know, it's
I mean, the MCU is such a machine at this point that I don't think I'd necessarily worried about that part anyway. I was bringing it up, but it's like, you know, they've got this shit figured out. Yes, there is still issues with these movies and some things like that, but in terms of like, you know, being a cog in the machine, I feel like they got that part pretty well. Like, okay, you're the director for this. Like, here's what you're doing. So yeah, I'm curious to see. It just seems weird that like if he was definitely doing Secret Wars as well, I think it would have come out here. So I'd say I'm pretty confident that he's not doing it. And yeah, who would I want? I'd be down for some new blood, although I don't know if they would go that route for, you know, part 2 of an Avengers movie this late in. I feel like they'd want to do something. And I mean, there's still time for this, where you get another director who hasn't done an MCU thing before, get them working on some other project that comes out before Secret Wars, just to get them in the shoes of that, see how it feels, work with some of those actors, and then bring them in later. But, you know, they might also have a very particular vision, or maybe there's some director or pair of directors who really want to do Secret Wars, and they kind of have, like, some good ideas for that. So, yeah, I'm very curious to see who they choose. I don't know if I have a pick right now. I'd say maybe, like, a Doctor Strange director or an Ant-Man director. Like that could
get
fit
Raimi in there.
Well. Yeah, Raimi or the guy who did the first one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I'd be open for that, but yeah, I'm on the edge of my seat waiting to see who they pick for that.
Well, you know why you're on the edge of your seat? Because my theory going in is that Clay is whoever directs F. Maybe you never know. But my theory is, my theory is though that I think they're gonna wait till you could actually get this at D23, even if you want to, because it is coming up. They might do that, some cast members, stuff like that. Because I think if they already got him narrowed down for Kang, they already know who's directing Secret Wars. You know, maybe it's just not officially out there. But my hope, and this is what I want, of course, but my theory is that they're gonna wait till November. Black Panther's going to come out, hopefully kill in the box office, hopefully do really well with fans and critics. And then that next week where it's like, hey, you really liked that Wakanda Forever movie? Well, boom, this guy's directing Secret Wars. And I really hope that happens. Do I think that's happening? No, because I just think I'd be too happy because I've been asking for Coogler to direct since 2018. But that's what I want, because sometimes they do that where they time it with, like, same thing with John Watts. It was like very close. Actually, it wasn't that close to No Way Home. I guess it was in December, but the previous one. But they sometimes like to time these decisions. I do think that, and this is just a theory of mine, and I don't think it's a bad thing because I think this is what you need in art, but I genuinely think that it will be someone within the MCU, and I think it's going to be someone that is not a white guy. I think it's going to be a female. It's going to be someone of a different race, because it's just to bring in Shang-Chi. One of the biggest praises it gets is because the culture it brings in and how different it is. Look at Miss Marvel. It gets so much praise for that and stuff like that. And that is something where I do also want that in this movie. So I want, hey, if someone has a different take and a different perspective from this, even if, like, let's say Shang-Chi's maybe going to be like our new Cap. Maybe he's the main character of the Avengers and he takes that role. Makes a lot of sense from there. But that's why I think Ryan could be up there. I also said this to a few people that I think that we got to see after the Marvels, because people might be writing the Marvels off, but I think Nia DaCosta could be a pick. She did Candyman, that got lots of reviews well. And if Marvels comes out, Marvels is already a team-up film with, you know, Rambeau and Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel. That's already 3 big characters with potentially some others. So it's like, I think if it is, like I was saying, if it's received well, and they may even have this plan, I think it's going to be her. I do think, and Kirklin's probably lucky, I think if Eternals was a lot more well-received, there was a very good shot Chloe Zhao could have been asked about it, because she's a fucking Academy Award-winning director. And how much would Feige and company love to be like, from the Academy Award-winning director, Chloe Zhao brings you the Avengers? But I think Eternals is a bit more mixed, and the choice I like I said, I don't have Shang-Chi in my top 10, but I still think it's great. I think it's still in that like 8.5. I watched again this week because it's so funny. Before I was kind of craving to watch it because I hadn't watched it in a while. And I was like, oh, I'm going to watch this. Gwen loves Shang-Chi. I put it on. She yelled. She's like, Shang-Chi. I don't know why she loves it so much. She fell asleep during Thor, but not Shang-Chi. But I watched it. I still have a great time. I still might like little problems here, some story choices and some CGI choices. We kind of know why some of that's happening right now. But I think it's what I'm happy with is it's a director that I've liked his MCU work. So a big thumbs up for me. So I think that we will get that. I bet we'll get Secret Wars announced. I guess Captain Marvel got delayed to summer. So I won't do a Travis told you so. But I think it's likely we could hear it this year. So Kirklin, what are your thoughts on these two?
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic choice for the director of the first movie, Kang Dynasty. I love Shang-Chi. The more I watch it, the more I get. I'm like Gwen at this point. I just yell Shang-Chi. I'm doing
Shang-Chi.
yeah, I'm doing martial arts in my living room.
Poor Marco.
No, it's so great, and I feel like the issues that I have with that movie are like the fate of what's his name, Death Dealer or Death Master.
Death Dealer. Yo,
Death
I watched
Dealer.
it again. I still like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Razor
So like stuff
Fist
like
is
that,
cringe.
and like now that I'm like out of the theater viewing, like just having the CGI on my home screen, it's like, oh okay, yeah, it's. I definitely had a pass on the first viewing, but the more I watch it, the more I notice those things. But like that's not really like the direction style. Like I think all the character stuff I love, so I think I'm really excited to see what he can do with the full Avengers movie, and then. Predictions for who could do the second one, or maybe even before that, I'll say like it is strange, kind of like what Dylan was mentioning of like having an Avengers. It's basically going to be a part one, like if the movie's coming out 5 months after this, there's going to be a big cliffhanger, even if they don't call it that. But having that
Avengers
Passover
cliffhanger.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
But yeah, like having that Passover between two directors. You know, I've seen it done messily before. I think I'm with Dylan where because Marvel is just such an established like it's like a whole machine at this point. Like I yeah, it is. It's a what is it? T800,
T800, T1000.
T800.
This one's the T5e though.
This is the T5e. Way badder, way meaner.
Yeah,
Give me that
lots of
skin and
hats.
call it
Metal
in
hats.
COD. I'll buy that one. I don't care if it's $50.
Metal hats.
Fuck, if you could play Feige as COD.
with the hats, and it's like Odd Job from Nightfire. Is that what you're talking about?
100%. Yeah.
But yeah, so like it's a little weird for me, but I'll wait. I'll wait to see who they actually announce. And for predictions, I do think it'll be someone that's already done an MCU thing. Has there been more than just the Russo brothers that have done like a team up directing?
Well, like, there's a mini ones because you could argue like Multiverse of Madness, and you can argue like the Marvels and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But like the
I'm not
biggest
arguing
events, they like and like Taika did Thor Ragnarok, which I don't think Taika's gonna do Secret Wars. And man, the internet would just burn down if Taika was directing Secret Wars. And I like Taika, but I would personally not.
Yeah, I love Taika. I don't want that.
Yeah, I think that's my line, my limit right there. So
Throwing this out there, what about I was just looking up the name of this person, but Kate Herron, who did Loki. I feel like that would actually be a pretty good pairing. I don't know how the TV to movie thing translates, but I think another season. I'm assuming they're working on the second season. But
no, that's what I was gonna say because they had a
okay.
weird they didn't have like a falling out per se, but they didn't bring her back for season 2. And
do you know if that was a her decision or a
I think it was
decision?
a them decision. I don't know why. It was, and I'm very worried about because I really loved Loki and I thought that'd be a great style and stuff like that. So I hope they work
especially
together.
with like Kang too. You'd think they kind of work
Well,
together.
yeah,
already.
kind of set him up. So I don't know what the theory is there. What happened?
Maybe
'cause
it's because she's busy working on Avengers. There you go.
yeah, the whole time. Look at me.
I can't do Loki season 2 because I'm doing like the second.
Yeah, directing
Avengers
this movie like 4 years in advance.
Yeah, a lot of prep time. Let's see. Taylor Field, what do you think about all this?
Well, the having different directors between these two films, it does scare me. Again, not by much because this whole series of phases in the MCU has just been a display of different directors taking on different heroes, all forming a cohesive storyline. So they definitely have that like in lock. But I'm still a little paranoid after the whole case of the Star Wars trilogy kind of like thing coming together.
Yeah, but
again,
just remember the original trilogy. That had 3 different directors. Worked out.
That wasn't under the Disney umbrella though. That's
I guess so. Yeah. That you could say that was Lucasfilm more than Disney, maybe. Hopefully.
That's true. Yeah. Again, I do have a lot of faith in what Marvel can do. I think having Destin as like a lock on for the Secret Wars is the one after he's doing Kang Dynasty, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what he's doing. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's fantastic because again, I love Shang-Chi, and I was looking at like his other movies, and he doesn't have like a long list. Like he started in like 2013, it looks like. And
Brie Larson's in every one of his movies, so the streak's going to continue. Like Espo's pointing out.
Yeah, well, I think that's the goal. He's trying to work his way up to that Captain Marvel sequel or something like that. That's what he wants to do.
That's his goal, to get to a Captain Marvel sequel. He has to do
he's
an
got to do an
Avengers
Avengers movie. That's fine, but his goal is Captain Marvel. But
wow.
yeah, he did something.
Good on
Does that
him.
mean Captain Marvel's gonna be like in majority of that movie? She's like just the lead.
I think
Secret Wars.
Well, no, of Kang Dynasty. Yeah, I think the lead. I think Shang-Chi and Captain
That's
Marvel
what I mean.
are.
Like this director.
Yeah,
just loves Brie
no, I
Larson,
think so. I think that, especially now, Panther may be on there, but especially with Chadwick gone, I think your top headliners, the top three at least, are Sam, Carol, and Shang-Chi. That I think those three are a lock, and those are that's like your new Iron Man, Tony. They're like Tony, Cap, Thor. Like that's your three right there. That's your new Trinity.
Aside from Brie Larson, he's worked with Rami Malek, Michael B. Jordan, and Sam Worthington. I bet Sam Worthington's gonna be popping MC. I should have put him on my draft list. It's a missed opportunity.
Well, you didn't know that he was directing, the Avengers.
I know, but he's in Avatar, and Disney owns Avatar. It's only a matter of time. I should have put 2 and 2 together.
It's only a matter of time. They're like, I'll be too busy making 6 movies to make Avatar. That's the problem.
Yeah. As far as directors go, for like who I'd want to do like the sequel, I mean, I don't really know like a lot of directors, but I mean, I'm always down for a James Cameron. Let's see, like a Quentin Tarantino or Jordan Peele. I'm on Jordan Peele hype.
None of
right
these
Jordan
are gonna
Peele
happen.
could do a fantastic Secret Wars.
Jordan Peele says he's never doing IP movies.
Well, I mean, I'm sure
Ben Affleck said he was hanging up the cape. So.
True.
People lie, Travis.
So Tina, you think it's gonna be someone outside the MC that directs?
You think it's going to be Tarantino, his last movie?
The 9th.
Close it out on Secret Wars.
The 10th and final film from Tarantino, Secret Wars. Could you imagine that Comic-Con though? And, like just that picture of Feige, and like I wouldn't want it because I think
Cavill's in my movie too.
Like Tarantino and Feige on the same stage. Oh my god, no!
I can't
Safe
picture
pick
that at all.
Safe pick. It'll be someone that's already got credentials. Someone who already been over to Feige's house for like a dinner or something like that.
So do you think that's all the directors go over for dinner, or just a select?
I think
few?
all of them do. I think Feige does like one-on-ones with them.
He has director's night.
Yeah.
Stars
What were we
night.
just talking about? Was it
Producer
the
night.
Predator retro? We are talking about someone that got invited over and it just
It
got
was Predator
weird vibes.
2.
It was
Yeah.
Predator 2.
It was like Steven Seagal or whatever. And invited the director over to show him like his guns and like let him fire his bazooka or grenade launcher. He's like, I really want to be in your movie.
It
And
was
he's
described as like the weirdest occurrence of this guy's life. Yeah, that's a little
super-
sneak peek for the go join Patreon. You can get that retro.
No, it's out publicly. You don't even got to do
right
that.
now.
Yeah, but you can
Join
join
Patreon
Patreon and get
and
the other ones. Yeah,
Why'd
yeah.
you got to say it, Travis?
Yeah. What if Feige steps in for a directorial debut? I don't think so. I don't think he has any interest in directing. I think he likes being the man behind the.
Under the hat.
There's a guy behind the camera, and he likes
He
to be
likes to
behind that
watch.
guy. Yeah.
He invites
He's
all the
like-
directors over, and then he just watches from another room. He doesn't eat with them.
Oh, this is good shit.
He just decides every single thing they'll taste that night. And he
Yeah.
watches.
Tonight
picture
we're
him, like-
using sporks.
A picture of like bad times at the El Royale, just having a bunch of like
Oh, no.
one way like mirrors, whatever
yeah.
it's called.
He has so
No
many
mirrors in
paint.
this house, Feige.
Yeah, his house is just
Gotta
layered
check
with
my
paint.
hats.
His house is just layered with paintings with eyes, so he can just like Cougar. It's like, you
They're
guys
all
think those
looking around.
eyes are moving? No, I don't think so. All right.
We gotta make this movie.
Yeah, we do. Just a director who likes to watch, So, well, you know what I like to watch? hopefully, is a new MCU movie, and what we will be watching, at least in the start of Phase 6 of Fantastic Four. This is just a small story, but Feige's doing the rounds. Talked about Deadpool 3, just that they're going to take a big swing and be in Ryan Reynolds' world, and they're excited about that. So I'm hoping we're getting a date here at D23. But the other thing he revealed in some post interviews was that Fantastic Four will not be an origin film. He says he feels that people know that story, and just like Spider-Man, he said, like, how can it come to the MCU, and how can we elevate that project? So, Kirk and Patsy, what do you think about the Fantastic Four? We've gone back and forth about this. Do you tell that story, or in the past, present, whatever it may be? And I think this shows that they might not actually be in like the past, and there's no freezing or anything. Maybe there is, but I think this is leaning more towards it might be present day. What do you feel about Fantastic Four with no origin?
That should be the title.
Fantastic Four,
no origin. I really like it. Honestly, it's breaking that mold of. I haven't seen Fan Four Stick. I'm assuming it went that same route of them getting their powers. Yeah.
There's a big time jump in there too, though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Classic fades of black.
We'll get there one day. I'll watch that movie.
17 years later.
But alas, I think it's awesome, honestly, because it reminds me of like Spider-Man PS4. Like I thought that was really fun, just jumping into Spider-Man already doing his thing. And this is with 4 members, so like just seeing like how they're working together like as a team, and like like certain characters maybe annoyed with each other because they've been putting up with that bullshit with each other. It's probably a Johnny Blaze thing, just for a lot. Like I'm excited to see what they're bringing to the table already, whereas in the past Fantastic Four, just the Jessica Alba ones are the only ones in my mind. But like just how that like we see that whole adventure from the start with them, like this is going to be exciting, just jumping in. And in regards to it possibly getting away from the 60s thing, I still think it's a fun idea, and I am hoping that maybe we just get like an explanation of what happened there, or like flashbacks to them in the 60s. I think that could be really fun, like picturing just like a classic like costume designs, like if they go back to that era of just like showing like scenes of that. I think that could be fun. But in regards to this not being an origin, I think that's awesome, and I'm 2 thumbs up on that news.
2 thumbs up. Taylor, where are your thumbs?
Oh, my thumbs are up. They're definitely exposed in the air up. I think that not doing an origin is A-okay with me. I mean, we've had the 2 iterations where we got the origin story, just kind of exploring the crevices of how they got their powers and stuff. And don't get me wrong, I love a good space sequence. I love seeing a little solar flare and a solar storm and a couple spaceships. It's always a good time, but
always
a good time. Yeah. I don't mind just them already existing, particularly because of how they already delivered the Reed Richards thing with John Krasinski. It's like, oh, he's already kicking around, so I can already go and thinking, okay, the Fantastic Four exists somewhere doing their own thing, and here they are just thrown in. I don't even feel like I would ponder the question of like the Eternals, like, hey, we're not supposed to interfere, unless it involves deviants. That kind of thing doesn't even faze me with the Fantastic Four. I just feel like could write like, hey, they were doing their own thing, and maybe they were at the portal fight scene fighting along the whole time. Who knows? Just kind of like afterwards they showed Mysterio.
That would be terrible.
They were not.
no, but it's kind of like the thing,
like we the Mysterio scene when it's like he's been here all along.
Well, yeah, Mysterio was in the corner, like pissed off at Tony for using his invention, right? So maybe that's the kind of dynamic.
They got no credit. They're just like, hey, can we assemble? And
who's this pile of rocks over here? Huh?
Yeah. We already got Korg. We don't need you, Ben.
I saw a meme about that actually.
Good.
But
I believe you.
Like, I'm super down to see the Fantastic Four. Like, really, really down. And just to not have to worry about the origin and how they're going to do it, I think is great, because we don't have to have a rushed film diving into not only the 4 characters, but even the villain too. However, I don't know who they're going to go with a villain in the Fantastic Four.
Not Doom.
Movie. No, not Doom. They got other plans. But I just think like 4 characters alone is a lot to develop in a movie. And
Guardians did it. That's an origin movie. That's more than 4.
Yeah, that's very, very true, actually. And
I'll go. Oh,
I would think like I was just gonna say, like with Guardians, though, I feel like
finish.
the wackiness was like an extra, like Oh,
What did
my
you say,
God.
Kirkland?
I said let him finish.
I thought he was done. He took like a 5-second pause. I was like,
I'm so
okay.
close.
He's talking lots. He needs to just engulf some air.
Are you almost done?
Gulp some air.
5 more
I think,
minutes.
I think the wackiness in Guardians is what really was a kicker for it. It made people much more like latch on, and even then, you didn't have to necessarily divulge a huge amount of their backstory, because with those characters, we got a lot more of their history in other films. With Gamora, it was an Avengers film when we see her planet attacked. With Star-Lord, it was the sequel. With Rocket, I'm assuming it's going to be Guardians 3. Groot's kind of just been a reset throughout the movies, just from little Groot to older Groot now. Drax was a little bit in the first movie, but it was very
They forgot
quick.
about Drax.
They did, yeah.
Drax was in Thor. The last Thor movie.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
finished.
Poor Mantis. Who cares about her origin is what I got from that, Taylor. Didn't even mention her.
No, we got good origins from her and the second one as well. So it would be the second one would be like a her and Star-Lord kind of origin story mostly.
I don't think.
Really?
I don't think
He
of
said
Guardians 2 as a Mantis origin movie.
She just is already there, like on this planet.
Sorry, Taylor. I didn't mean to cut you off, but then when I
No,
did and you started
do it.
talking, I just thought to myself, it's too late.
It's too-
It's too late. Yeah, I'm going to go because I'm not sure what Dylan said. I'm on the other side of this where I want to be an origin story. You know why I want to be an origin story? Because, I know that. But I want it. The difference is with Spider-Man, it's like, I want it. Like, I want just like a Fantastic Four film. But the 2005 one is fine. I like it enough. But the good thing is with Spider-Man is I have a great film that has the origin story. I don't have a great film that has the origin story with Fantastic Four. And I don't think it's... just because Fantastic Four has had 2 films, I don't think it's been done to death like Spider-Man or Batman to that extent. So I actually would like it. I think it's good to see these characters, especially because it's a group of 4. It's like the Guardians, where I like seeing the group get together. It's the same reason with the X-Men. I'd like to see them get together. I don't know if I really want them to just be completely established. I think you do miss something a little bit of, hey, here's the team and they're just here, and you've missed. And maybe they might do flashbacks, they might tell stories, but I like that kind of team bonding origin story, and then you get to the point that they are the Fantastic Four. Well, now I guess they'll just drop and be Fantastic Four. They'll just drop out of space, like a ship will crash land, like, oh, we got the power. So I actually was kind of wanting an origin for the MCU and for these characters, so I could have a great Fantastic Four origin film. But I'm open to it. We'll see. I do trust them. But yeah, so I was like a little bummed, but at the end of the day, like, I don't care that much about that 4. My care level is going to be depend when we get that stage walk of who they've cast. If it's a lot of actors I really like, then I'm really invested. If it's a lot of actors, I'm like, that's fine. Fantastic Four has never been one of my favorites, so I'll be like, okay, I'm just happy to see another MCU movie and see what they're bringing. So what about you, Dylan?
I think you all make a lot of great points, and it like makes me feel even more split than I was before, because I see where you're coming from, Travis, of like, okay, I'd like to see that again, but done better and with characters that we know are going to stick around for the long haul. But then I also see what what Kirkland and Taylor are saying too, where it's like, yeah, we've been there before, so let's do something new. I think there's a couple things to this. One is that we're at a point in the MCU where the believability of this guy is a pile of rocks and this girl can go invisible and throw things out, like all of that, we're established enough in this universe. There's enough crazy shit going on that they can just have these powers at the beginning and we don't need to explain it. But I still want to know where they got it from specifically. I mean, they're still doing that a lot in these movies, like, or Miss Marvel, Shang-Chi, like they still go through the, like, where do these powers come from kind of thing. So I want to at least get those answers, and I guess they could do it the way where it's like, okay, we're on the journey. You got your villain for this movie. We're just gonna like skip past that stuff, and then you get some of it in flashbacks or just lines of dialogue as they're talking about stuff, like, oh, remember back when we first got our powers and it was such a confusing time, and like they could do that and it could work. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just really curious to see the vision they're going for here, because I don't think you can just completely skip over it. You can't just like pretend as if that happened in like another universe or it's been explained already. And I mean, maybe a good way to get for us to get more of that as MCU fans is through What If, where you have the movie and then the next season of What If you say like I don't know what it would be, but let's say it is that same event where they go up to space and you can say like, what if that what if they died in that? I don't know. Whatever it is, you could like have an episode where then we get to see. Yeah. What if they,
oh shit!
what
It's
if
like
the
2 minutes
ship,
long.
or maybe something better is like, what if it crash landed on a different planet or something like that? And that way you can tell us in 20, 30 minutes like that origin story stuff. And I'm personally okay with that too, because even if that's like a different multiverse, generally it's like, okay, everything happens the same until one thing doesn't, right? Is kind of how we're getting set up with these multiverses. So what's that, Taylor?
Let me pitch this to you guys.
Pitch
Do
it.
you think
No
the
Tarantino.
previous 2 origin story films have soured Feige's opinion on just doing an origin story this time?
Yes.
You think that's the sole reason?
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, I think if they were both great films, you'd be like, they've already done that. And then, like, if they're bad films, like, they've already been done poorly. So I think his method is that we've already done the origin stuff. So
I think it's really because they just want to speed these characters along. Like, they want to skip first and second base. They want to go right there, like, right, they want to skip right to third base and then home run it with Avengers. Is where
he's watching from his room.
Yeah, he's watching with his baseball cap on and all
through the painting.
Well, Taylor's pitching too. We know that. So I think truthfully that's what it is, and obviously we know that is somewhat the case because that movie is happening in that same year. Presumably they're going to appear in at least one, if not both, of the Avengers movies, and so they got to be set up in that world. But yeah, something like if we look at how they use John Krasinski in Multiverse and like him having that title of the smartest man in the world, whatever it is, whether or not that's something that just like the Illuminati calls him, or if that's like the general public knows Reed Richards as the smartest man in the world. Are we going to get to that point very quickly in the MCU where just like everyone in our 616 universe on planet Earth knows of these characters? Do they have that level of fame? Because that is going to be a bit messy, right? If they try and shoehorn that stuff in, they could make it so that the Avengers event, which is like this global event that everyone's going to know about, that could be the thing that puts them on the map, and then you can go with that storyline for Fantastic Four 2 and wherever they appear in the future. But I also wonder if this, and I don't really wonder this that hard, I guess, but it could be that some of this origin stuff, he says this truthfully because that stuff happens in another movie or a TV show. We get some of that information, but I feel like that's so hard to do that with 4 characters. Like, whatever project you put that in, doesn't that just like major dock points off whatever that project is? Because it's like, well, now you're just making this Fantastic Four origin story.
That's all Blade is. It's just a set of F4.
I really hope that doesn't happen to Blade.
Yeah.
Like, if someone pops up one at a time, I just don't know if we have time for that. If they're, what is it? It's 2024, like early 2024, right? Is when that's coming out. So I don't know if we have time to do that setup. I mean, maybe we do, but I just don't know where it happens. But there you go. Those are my kind of very undecided thoughts. I don't know what I want. I'm just really curious to see what they do.
Oh,
I'm hoping too if it goes the route that like they've been around for a while. It's like maybe they've already interacted with certain characters that we haven't even met, so when they do appear, like they already have some history there, specifically Silver Surfer. So just give me Silver Surfer.
Still trying.
You guys love your surfer, don't you?
It's gonna happen.
I do.
Well, let's take an ad break, and then we're going to talk about some trailers and some gaming news. We'll be right back. And we're back. So let's start off with this one because, we're big fans over here. Blonde, coming out September 25th on Netflix. Go look at the announcement for TIFF Films. Man, there is so many good. This is the time of year where they start to announce films that you had no idea about. And it's like, that sounds good. That sounds good. Like, there's this movie coming out with Ethan Hawke and Ewan McGregor where they play like estranged brothers. They're half brothers. They share the same dad, and they're just reuniting because of his funeral. And just like that, to me, that setup, like, oh man, this sounds great. But go down the list. There's so many good things happening. But this is one that's been in the works for a while. Obviously, it's been like a controversial thing even before coming out because it was very long. I think it's raking in like at a, I can't remember the official runtime, but they wanted it shorter, and they also didn't want it to be an NC-17, which is like usually the kiss of death for movies. I think his idea, the director's was, well, it's streaming, so anyone can watch it, but they of course want to put it in theaters, and even then NC-17, it's like, hey, your kids really shouldn't be watching that, but it's sticking with NC-17, and Armis is playing the iconic Marilyn Monroe, and yeah, I'm looking really forward to this. I'm looking forward just because the hype and the chatter around it. Anytime Anna Armis is in something, I'm looking forward to it, especially after I just watched The Gray Man, where she's highly underutilized and just don't do anything with her.
Really?
Oh,
Ana de Armas?
yeah, you
Sounds
could have
like
got
the
any
same thing that
actress.
happened with 007.
No,
Like she was great in 007, but still she was underutilized. I feel like they could.
Yeah, but there's a difference between she's great in 007 and a scene stealer, and yeah, you'd want her to be in it more. But in this, she's not great in it. She's just there. Like No Time to Die highlights her. But yeah, go
Hey,
check
we
out
nominated her in Golden Geeks. Like it was that she was in it enough to get nominated. So
Did we nominate her?
We
I
did.
think she made it. I think she made it in the top 5 there.
Really?
I don't think she won, but I think she definitely got
No,
nominated.
I know she didn't win. I have to look back. I don't know how that happened. She's in it for like 15 minutes. I can't believe it.
It's
then
a good
Wow.
15 minutes.
Yeah, but not in Gray Man. But now it's a starring vehicle. I think obviously if you know the story of Marilyn Monroe, there's a lot around it, a lot of controversy around it too. So I'm looking very forward to this one just to see what it is. And visually it looked good. She just looks like she's killing the game. Like this just looks like it can be, if she wasn't already a star, it'd be like one of those star making performances. Like, who was this? Luckily most people know who she is, but I think it looks great and I can't wait to see it. Taylor, is this some up your alley, or is this a skip? Like,
I
you put
thought
this
it
on
was
with
going to be
Manson?
focusing on like the alien conspiracies with the Kennedys and
No,
stuff, but
that's not
it's another movie. So.
It might be. It might be like a
3 hours
sequel.
long, so maybe
Sequel.
there's an
Sequel.
hour where they
a
go
full
on
hour.
that tangent.
I'm in if that's the case, but no, like watching the trailer, like it looks very artistic, and the atmosphere to it of just persona. And I don't know what I'm trying to say there.
Yep.
Trying to
Take 2.
be a specific
After
character to the public eye, and then being someone in your own private life. I think it's a very interesting dynamic to see the tribulations and the turmoil that can envelop someone as they try to find a balance in that, and it's almost next to impossible. And I
We
think
deal
that's-
with that all the time, right?
I
being
do all the
GeekVerse.
time. Fuck, it's so rough. But no, you see it in so many celebrities, even nowadays. I just feel like you see the way fans are. Fans are just too over the top, and you see actors.
Are you talking about that Affleck
singers.
video?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I was actually thinking of like Justin Bieber actually in my mind actually, because like
Justin
he's
Bieber.
just. Yeah, he's someone I feel like he has all these fans always up in his business, and he's just trying to do.
They just
one
want some Tim
thing,
Biebs,
and
they're
just want
trying to
some
get
Tim
in.
Biebs. Tim Biebs are fucking great, by the way. Oh my god. But yeah, just not just with Justin Bieber. I think just a few people. Like you just try to.
Just a
be,
few. Only a
just
few suffer
a few.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You try and like put on a good persona and a good face for everyone out there, because you want to represent something that's positive to the fan base and the community. But it's hard because when people are always like, "Why don't you do this?" or your producers are wanting you to act like this and stuff, and it can be so strenuous. And so to see Marilyn Monroe portrayed in this dynamic by Ana de Armas, I think there's just going to be a lot of depth to this journey that she's going to show us in this film. So I'm really intrigued by it actually. And
Are you
so
going to watch it?
I'm inclined to wanting to watch it.
Okay.
I'm inclined to wanting to watch it, Travis.
It just didn't feel like a Taylor. Maybe I think you'd watch it and be like, it might be a bit too
I like to
artsy.
whip a surprise one out on you every now and then.
All right. No, don't whip any surprises out on me. I don't need any of that. Kirklin, you whipping out some surprises?
Yeah, this is. I feel like when I heard the casting, I was definitely intrigued. Love Ana de Armas, she's fantastic. And yeah, like I was very intrigued on just how it was gonna go. And then like the first image of her as Marilyn, I was like, man, like wow, this is very impressive. And I feel like I was like not scratching at the bit to get my hands on this movie, but still, like I was very intrigued, and I thought the trailer looked really interesting too. And I don't really know much about like the controversies around Marilyn Monroe other than like maybe like one or two. But I don't know what it is, man. I feel like honestly, when I saw that Netflix like banner at the bottom, I'm like, oh, this is probably going to be an average movie. It's pretty rough to say that, honestly. It's just I've gotten really hyped in the past over Netflix movies and then just disappointed. It all started with Triple Frontier. Last one was Spiderhead. It was just
Spiderhead.
very like just lukewarm. And
This
like,
is going to TIFF though, which
good
TIFF is like a
actors.
big like you gotta be
What
top
is it?
shit.
Sorry, say it
TIFF,
again.
the Toronto International Film Festival, like that's big.
okay.
Like that means this is gonna be making runs for Oscars and stuff like that. Which they
Okay.
do have some Oscar
So,
films in there, you know.
That helps, that pushes back my initial thoughts. And it's funny because I feel like I never really want to give it that, but I've just been disappointed with those
Yeah.
Netflix movies as of late. And I will see this, so I will judge it and probably drop a review and see how it actually is. But I'm holding back my super hype expectations. It's weird because like I was super hyped, and as soon as I saw the Netflix thing, I'm like, oh no, okay, this is probably gonna be forgettable, and I don't want it to be because.
Or was it in your head?
I don't even remember. It might have been
screamed.
out loud. I just like huffed.
Oh no!
Fuck! Shake, cut the power, turn the
Shang-Chi, yeah. Put Shang-Chi on, quick.
Yeah, but so yeah, I'll that's my thoughts right now. I'm kind of in the middle, but I no matter what happens, I think Ana de Armas is gonna be fantastic, and that'll definitely just help get through the movie if it's not amazing.
Anytime Kirklin's watching a trailer, he sees that Netflix logo.
Holy God, what are you showing me? His head. Come on.
I was gonna pull it up, but I'm like, oh, the time's passed. But you got it.
No,
You
it's
got
not. Kirklin, for that GIF, I can't. Damn it! It's just wait. We got too many photos.
We got.
I was
too
gonna
many.
say
We gotta clear it
it's
out a
not
little
too
bit.
late. It's not too late. We gotta clear it out. The photos are way too long. Like we don't need any of these Watcher ones.
Oh yeah, we do. Season 2's
Don't
coming
delete
up.
the photos. You can take them off StreamYard,
Yeah.
but don't. Yeah,
I don't
love
think
that
we
we have
need
this.
Bilbo
Yeah.
Morbius
Oh,
anymore.
this. We got this one too.
Imagine dating Spider-Man. He doesn't even tell you. You just have to find out your own. Because one night you're going to bed, and the next day you wake up, Green Goblin's in your corner of your ceiling. Like
Why?
it's over
Where's the
for
emoji?
you.
The
Oh yeah,
emoji always
laughing
gets me.
emoji. It's over for you. So that was a popular.
Get that tweet out of the. We don't need that on the list.
No, that's a classic. It's too
We gotta
good.
keep
it's over.
this though.
Oh yeah.
no.
Oh god.
It's gotta
And another
stay
one we
there.
gotta see. We can get rid of Arnold because we don't need.
Hey,
I don't even know
that could
what
be
this
used.
is.
That could be
Cool
used.
body.
Yeah, but
But
we
like
do
the
gotta,
final boss of Bioshock.
yeah, we do got to keep this until the Flash comes out because
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic.
That's a goodie.
This is a
yeah.
good one too. See, all these are so good. I feel
What
like
is
it really
with the
just
pixelation on this?
Oh yeah, we got some tough.
it just
We
kinda
can
calls
definitely
back to,
get.
like, a
I'm gonna delete
specific
this one
memory.
right now. See,
Oh,
this
yeah,
is the
no.
original car one. This is the original car one with Joker and the little
OG.
Bruce
Oh
in
yeah,
there.
look at that.
Yeah. All right, but I'm gonna.
We can delete this. What is this? We got blizzards in here.
Why is the blizzards in there?
Because one time me and Taylor were talking about blizzards and ice cream on here and stuff
Why do you
like
need an
that.
image like
I'm
for anyone who
deleting that
doesn't know what a
overlay.
blizzard
I'm deleting
is?
that
Yeah.
overlay.
Do we need to keep this guy because he's not an Eminem? He's not
Not
Sauron
actually
anymore.
Sauron.
It
No,
got
it's not
confirmed,
actually
right?
Sauron. Delete them,
Yeah.
bring it back in September. We don't need it for now, though.
There you go.
Yeah. Dylan, what are you thinking about this?
Yeah, I'm a huge Ana de Armas fan. She looks fantastic in this, given the performance of a lifetime. No, the podcast listeners, they know what they're if they've been around for
All
a few
the
years, they know
images.
what to
Yeah,
expect.
it's true.
Yeah.
100%. Sorry, Dylan.
No, Taylor, you were talking about that element of it. I really like the quote in the trailer, which is that she was watched by all but seen by none. I thought that was very powerful, those 6 words. And yeah, truthfully, I don't know much about Marilyn Monroe's story. I like Kirklin said he knows 2 of the controversies. I don't know any of the controversies really. So I'm down to check this out. It seems like it might be a pretty intense watch. I feel like it's going to be slower paced.
Oh yeah.
A lot of emotions, dialogue, and stuff like that. 3 hours, like it's going to be intense. So I don't think I'd go to the theaters for this one, but I think a Netflix watch. I could see me watching this one in like 2 to 3 sittings, just like watching like a TV series, almost like a little documentary kind of. But yeah, it looks fantastic. She looks fantastic in it. I assumed Marilyn Monroe is like an American woman with like just a regular American accent. Is that correct?
Well, I don't know if you want to say regular American accent. She spoke in that type of very she had like that type of
Okay.
a very high, not I don't even say high pitched, but kind of airy, breathy type of voice. But it is they're kind of, I don't know if someone had to look that. Like I'm not trying to say anything, but like I don't think Marilyn Monroe was Hispanic and Ana de Armas is. So I think they're trying to like also do some things there. But I could be wrong because I know
Yeah,
some things about
it's-
Marilyn Monroe. But
It doesn't sound like Anna's doing anything different with her voice here. So I mean, like I don't have much attachment to Marilyn Monroe, so not like I'm offended or anything. I'm
Yeah.
just curious how people are going to think about that, and if people are looking at this as like a maybe an accurate depiction of the story.
You'll get a lot of that for sure.
If that's going to throw them off in any way, make it feel maybe not as immersive or believable or something. So I'm curious about that and how that'll go. But yeah, I think it looks great, and I think this is definitely going to check it out for me on Netflix vibe for sure.
Well, you know what I imagine we're all going to be checking out is Oppenheimer next year. Now, the weird thing is, I'm pretty sure I just went to the YouTube, and Universal's still doing it. They've just been doing like a 24-hour live stream of just the trailer over and over and over again.
That's weird.
Fucking weird.
Same people that did the Morbius thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but this is their own account, though, doing this. And maybe they're doing this trying to build up hype, because I think we all saw this with Nope. They released it publicly. I don't... Here's the thing. Now, I think Nolan I love Nolan. He's my favorite director. I think this is just a nothing teaser. This to me this could have been anybody directing this. We could have fucking directed this thing, in my opinion. Like, it has some intensity. Cool. I know Nolan's going to give us something great.
I don't think Cillian Murphy would do a movie with us. I think we're a bit too low tier.
I got some shade on him. I got some dirt on him. So I'm going to blackmail him. Yeah, I'm going to blackmail him. Yeah, he's going to star in one of our movies. But
I saw what you did in Batman. I know what you're a bad guy.
Okay, here you go. SO says the countdown of the trailer changes every single time it gets close to the 78th anniversary of the first detonation, which is just such a fucking weird, like, we're marketing the celebration of the first detonation. I don't know.
Ooh, yeah, bombs.
Nolan has a heavy task in front of him, because I remember, and I ended up really enjoying Dunkirk, but I remember when I saw Dunkirk, I'm like, I just don't know if the world is, like, I don't know if Dunkirk can be, not that you can't make war movies, but can this be like a massive hit? Are people going to go out and see it? And they did. The release in summer, lots of people saw it, got nominated for Oscars, so it worked. So he's trying to strike lightning twice in the same spot per se, and I just don't know if this topic is there. Now, Nolan, he's going to have the visuals. It's going to be a stunning masterpiece of visual cinema, but I just don't know if people, and I'm definitely biased because I don't care, in the sense of I'm fine to see this movie. I'm just not rushing out to see it. As far as, especially what I don't understand is releasing this in the summer as like a blockbuster, and that's what I'm interested to see how they continue to market, because they're, to me, trying to market it as like a big blockbuster. It seems like with the fire and the intensity and all this stuff, but I feel like you're going to get a very Oscar baity type of movie. And even Dunkirk, you have the war as the backdrop to do all these things and really cool shots and like some intensity, like will these characters live or die? So I do trust Nolan. We'll see what happens. I think the summer is a terrible, awful release date for the potential box office for this film. It opens the same day as Barbie, and now I know it's a joke, but like I think Barbie will do well, and I'm pretty sure. What is it? The week after is the Marvels, and the week before is something. Oh, it's Mission Impossible too. So within 14 days, you have Barbie, Mission Impossible, which is part one of the finale, and the Marvels, which is a sequel to a $1 billion film. I don't know what they're doing having this in summer. I don't think it's a good idea. If this is clearly Oscar bait, put it in the fall with the rest of the movies, with not lots of big stuff's coming out. So I don't know. As of right now, he needs to sell me on this. I have always said I definitely prefer the more Inception, Tenet, like don't talk about the Batmans, like the sci-fi, more head-trippy Nolan. This is the, prestigious, illustrious Nolan, which, I like Dunkirk, but it's still like lower rate for me. So we'll see, but this teaser does nothing. It just makes me more worried about it as far as like a financial, not worried, but just like I don't know how this is going to go in the summer. You release this next year. Like next year's pretty packed, and I don't know if it's going to be successful, but Dylan, where are you? Because I know we're all big Nolan nights here and stuff like that. And yes, Florence Pugh's in this. It's a stacked cast, of course, that helps, but
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat as you in terms of the, hearing the pitch of what the movie is, the setting and all that, doesn't really excite me, which is unfortunate. I don't know. I like it. Just looking at Nolan's other stuff, I really would like him to go a different route. And even Tenet, I didn't love that movie, and that was very much in pitch me on that. That sounds exactly like the kind of movie I want from Nolan. So I guess my hype is maybe a bit lower than usual, and I mean, this trailer doesn't really do anything for me. The thing that really excites me about it, really the only thing right now, is the cast: Cillian Murphy, Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr., Emily Blunt, Gary Oldman, Florence Pugh. That sounds fucking awesome. I can't wait to see Nolan with some of these actors, because, I mean, obviously Cillian Murphy's worked with him before. I guess Gary Oldman did as well with Batman, right? And then I don't think any of these other names have that I can recall.
I think
Matt
Michael
Damon?
Caine is in it too as well.
Okay.
Yeah, Matt
well, that's
Damon
a
was
classic.
in it.
You gotta have Michael Caine. That's
Yeah.
your cameo.
Michael Caine?
here.
I thought he retired, or I guess this is his like last project. Did he
No, that
retire
was
from
that. No,
acting?
that was falsely reported. He said he's not retiring. No,
okay.
Matt Damon and him have worked together. Do you guys?
you go.
Let's see who gets it. Do you
Matt
guys
Damon
remember?
with
Yes.
Nolan?
He's in a secret role in one of his movies, but it's a big role.
A secret role in one of his
Yeah.
movies.
He
Big
was not
role.
advertised for it when the movie was coming out, so that's probably
Was
not
it
even thinking of
Batman?
it. Nope.
Can you narrow it down? Okay, I'm out.
Was it Dunkirk?
Nope. Taylor,
He
your
wasn't in
turn.
Taylor.
Tenet. He
Taylor,
wasn't in
save us.
Inception. I don't think he was in Memento.
Was he in the
Oh, you're
Prestige?
helping out Taylor.
Nope.
What was it?
Interstellar.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Ah.
Good one.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what's his role in Interstellar again?
He's
But
that
he's the
fucking loony
Crazy
guy.
astronaut.
Yeah, he's the
yeah.
guy that turns him
Right,
McConaughey, Dr. Man,
I
like 'cause
totally
he's
forgot about
fighting
that.
for man.
Well, that was a very. I mean, I didn't remember him, but I've only seen
Yeah,
the movie
no.
once. But that is a very fun character. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's exciting. And so yeah, but I don't have much to go off other than that. I don't know much about this person of I forget his first name, but whatever his name Oppenheimer is. Like I don't know this story, so I guess that's going to be interesting to learn about. The black and white. I'm curious if that's the whole movie or if just part of it. Obviously, he did some black and white stuff with Memento used in an interesting way. So I wonder if it's the same sort of thing or if it's just a black and white movie. And then, yeah, the time thing, which is kind of like the countdown to the movie. We talked about this a lot in the retro when we did that, is that Nolan's always playing with time in his movies. And so I don't know what this timer, I think this timer is going to mean something more than just the release date of the movie. So I'm curious to see how it's integrated into the movie. Like, I wonder if that's something that, like, throughout the entire film, there's just a timer going on. Like, that would be kind of wild. Don't know if that's a great idea, but I am very curious about this timer because that's a very Nolan thing to do. So, yeah, I'm not super excited yet, but I think I'm prepped to be with just a couple more details under my belt there.
Taylor, you get a ticket to see Oppenheimer or you get a ticket to see Barbie? What you going into first here?
Are they both on the same day?
Yeah, same day, yeah. That's why I ask. He smiled because he's thinking Barbie.
No, I was thinking of Oppenheimer. Actually,
Okay.
it's
Well,
a
I'll be
story
alone
that
for Barbie.
I really want to. I really want to get to know a little bit more, and I want to see how this visually is portrayed on the screen as well. I wanted to check out that live stream you talked about the trailer because I thought that's super fucked. But as Bubs is
It's
right,
just the trailer over and over
I
again.
counted it. I counted the seconds, and it is actually dropping by minutes every time it replays. So I fucking feel for the guy that has to do that for the next 11 months straight. Doesn't even get to sleep. He just has to keep like re-editing the time code.
Yeah, I
well, I
don't
don't
think I don't think that's how it works.
No,
they
no,
probably
that's-
have some software
yeah.
that made it pretty easy for him.
I hope.
And it's
so.
the first detonation, so I don't think he's doing that till the movie releases. I think it's just the anniversary of the detonation, Taylor, not the movie.
Oh, I thought it was to the movie release.
No. Yeah. No, that'd
makes
be
more sense.
That Universal will be taking up their live stream for a whole year for pretty much nothing, in my opinion.
Interesting. But yeah, I mean, the trailer doesn't have much to go off of. We saw it when we were going to see Nope. It appeared. I was like, oh yeah, this is it. And the trailer just it's
like, oh,
it didn't have
It's
anything.
Oppenheimer, everybody.
It didn't have anything more
Get up
than
a chair.
needed
It's
to really
Oppenheimer.
have. It was super. Yeah, I don't even know what you would necessarily show more of in the trailer. I mean, like show the bomb going off, the first
Story.
testing. I guess
Characters.
more story,
A scene,
Yeah.
some acting.
The Avatar
perhaps.
teaser showed more than this. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hey, Avatar's coming out this year. Don't forget.
Dialogue.
This isn't.
Yeah, we still need a full trailer of Avatar too. I don't know when that's
It'll
happening,
come.
but
It'll come. Taylor,
You have to
all
go
done?
like they have an
Oh,
underwater theater. That's the only place you can watch the Avatar.
Way of
trailer.
water. Just the way James wanted it.
It's projected onto the side of a whale. Followed around.
Oppenheimer, you gotta sit to buy like a fucking nuke to watch it. You know.
Oh no,
I hope not.
Jesus.
it's fucked up.
That
man.
Just,
radiation.
you just walk into your theater and there's just a nuke there, and no one's like, "Don't worry, it's safe. It's all about the experience."
Nolan's at
He's
every
talking
theater
like
the same.
fucking
He goes
Bane,
one by
too.
one. It's all good. It's all good.
Take control. Take control.
Yeah, man. Oppenheimer. I'm
man.
definitely the most positive, I think, out of all of us on this one. I am super, super pumped for this movie. I think it helps too. Like the cast is insane, and I just finished Peaky Blinders, so like Cillian Murphy is just at an all-time high in my mind. Like I feel like I always liked his roles as just like the side characters, specifically in the Nolan projects. I don't know if I've seen him in like anything else, but God, he was good in all those side roles. But like him in the lead, he is just such a powerhouse of an actor. Go check out Peaky Blinders. He is phenomenal in that show. That's the type of show that like I feel like if it's not an actor like Cillian Murphy leading, like the show would have just been so much lesser. But he's so phenomenal. But alas, in the Nolan film, like I love Nolan's movies. I feel like also just the same reason why I was hyped for Dunkirk is why I'm hyped for this one. Like I think Nolan just really delivers on like the in the movie theater experience. Like the whole cinematic experience is just it's so intense. And I think even if we're not having like space battles or sci-fi concepts being tackled in this movie, I think there's still going to be some bone-chilling moments that really just kind of has me in awe. Like, yeah, just picture what that nuke is going to look like, because it's definitely going to happen on screen. It's going to be insane, and just,
Do you think he's doing a real atom bomb for this movie?
Yes.
Detonating?
He's going to rent out the moon for a few days and do it there.
So Warner Brothers was
moons.
like, no, we can't do
the most
this.
expensive DC project of all time. Rocks in on this. So yeah, I am so pumped. I think the trailer, like, it was one of those things where it's just Nolan's name is on the screen. There's some weird fire effects. It's like, oh, okay, Nolan's doing like another movie, and I feel like Nolan is the type of director that, like, people that aren't even like big film heads, they just kind of see that name and it's like, oh, I like I've seen a Nolan movie that I like, so I feel like it'll probably get some people just excited more than like getting excited. I feel like this trailer is more just like, hey, this is happening. Like, you have a year, go prepare yourself for battle. This is happening in a year. So I didn't need much more. I mean, I would have liked much more than this, but I think I'm okay, at least right now, because it's still over a year away, right? It's August 2023?
No, it's 11 months. I think it's June or July, so.
Never mind then. I'm completely wrong, but I'm very excited for this movie.
That's okay. Are you excited
the movie
for
releases in 11 months?
something
Yes,
like
sir.
that? When's it come out?
I thought the countdown on the trailer wasn't for the movie release.
It's not. We're not talking about that, though. Kirklin just asked, when's it out? He didn't ask about the countdown at all.
But the countdown is for 11 months, and then Kirkland's like, when does it come out? 11 months.
No, I think there's that's for the teaser. I feel like the countdown on that live stream is something different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I could be wrong. I don't know.
He just picked a random time, so let's do a countdown to this random time.
To the Barbie release. That's what he's going for. That's what he's celebrating.
Speaking of... Fuck, let's take an ad break. Let's take an ad break.
We need a
We'll be
break.
right back. Yeah. And we're back. So our last trailer of the night, speaking of anticipated things, Pinocchio. We got another Pinocchio coming out. And I didn't specify, so I hope everyone watched the right trailer. But this
I
is
watched both of them.
Fuck, again, sorry. This is Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. I'm looking much more forward to this just in the concept of all, but also just, we talked about this in some stills, but actually seeing it moving. Man, I love the style that they're going with for this one. This just looks much more appealing to me than the Disney Plus one, which I know what the Disney Plus one's doing. It's going to a different audience. It's being made for Disney Plus, things like that. But this one, the cast is really good, and I'm looking very forward to seeing this. It's on Netflix, so if this was in the theaters, would I go see it? Probably not. I guess I got the kids, so we'd have to see like how dark this one is. But I'm definitely on this side of the Pinocchio bandwagon as far as the Pinocchio movies we got coming out this year.
I gotta ask, like, how does something like this even happen? Because there's a Disney
Public domain.
Pinocchio. Public domain? That's just what Pinocchio is?
Yeah, he's in public domain, but we could make a Pinocchio movie if we wanted.
When 100 years passes, it enters the public domain, and it's fucking...
That's why Winnie the Pooh was getting that
freedom.
horror film, remember?
Let's go.
Freedom.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about that concept.
He just
Learn something new every day.
Oh yeah, no,
I
that's
had
how they're
no idea
making
that. It's so yeah, like I didn't know the legal rights on how that works. So thanks for explaining. But also, it's just like, why? Fuck, here we go again. Like,
So the only thing
fucking
you can't do
CJ.
is like the Jiminy Cricket in Disney has certain characteristics that you couldn't copy and bring over to the other things because that's Disney's version of Jiminy Cricket. But you can do a Jiminy Cricket, so we could make a Pinocchio, and Taylor could be our Jiminy Cricket, and he could like
But the
rap
original-
or something.
The original Pinocchio was Disney, right?
No, it was just a
Or is-
story.
It was just oh, okay.
Yeah. that Disney did.
Look
Yeah,
at all the
most of
stuff I'm
Disney's
learning
fairy
about Pinocchio.
tales or most of their older stuff are just fairy tales they've adapted that are lots of them have turned in the public domain, like Real Little Mermaid's
Wow,
really
there
fucked
you
up
go.
story. Yeah.
Damn, I don't want to learn about that one. So yeah, I like. Thanks for answering that. And then my other question is just like, why are they releasing them both in the same year? Like, that's just really bizarre. Is it like they're both coming out in
Pinocchio's
the
hot
fall
right now.
right?
Yeah, Pinocchio's hard.
That's
Yeah,
so
they're
weird.
both. I guess it's just a
Yeah.
bad timing thing, you know.
Fair enough.
Like, if you have a studio and if you've made Pinocchio, would you sit on Kirkland and be like, "Fuck, we're gonna release our Pinocchio
no, fuck
film. It's
no.
ready to
But
go."
like 12 people would watch my Pinocchio movie. I don't think I'd be getting a Netflix logo on my trailer.
Isn't it a
for
bit different
Pinocchio.
though if you're like both on separate streaming services
Mm-hmm.
in terms of the competition aspect of
You
it?
know, some people are gonna think they're the same one though. They're like, "Oh, they're on Netflix and Disney Plus." Why isn't
Right.
Tom Hanks in this version? That's when it will go up. But yeah, I think it being different is enough. But I guess I think it's just poor timing on both whoever's part, you know. But
Yeah. But alas, with this trailer, I really liked it. Honestly, I'm really not excited for that other one. Like just for the reason that like I don't even think I've seen the actual Pinocchio movie, like the classic Disney one. I don't think I've seen it. I really don't have much attachment to Pinocchio at all. So when we're getting like this live action one with Tom Hanks, it's really doing nothing for me. But this one, it just seems very artsy, and I think Guillermo del Toro, I like his art style. He's made some pretty interesting movies in the past. I haven't seen all of them, but like the first one that kind of comes to my mind is like something like Pan's Labyrinth. I remember just seeing that younger. It's just like, wow, what an experience that movie was. And this one, yeah, like I think the fact that it is like stop motion, it just seems creepier. I have no reasonings for that. It's just it seems darker, and maybe like also just like the designs of Pinocchio, because he's more of just like a wooden thing, like a wooden sculpture. Yeah, he's a wooden boy. Thank you, Dylan. Whereas like the Disney one, or even like the new Disney one, they really show him to look like a human boy. But this one, he's a wood boy. I don't know what it is. I'm intrigued to see what happens and to kind of find out the story of Pinocchio, because I really don't think I've seen. I might have seen it like a long time ago, but I really don't remember anything of Pinocchio.
you can say you're intrigued, but I definitely don't think I have any of these put. This is definitely a. I had this on the notes. I announced it. I probably could have taken it out, but we had probably already watched that point. This was at the news.
No,
was
I'm
later.
very excited for this. I think it
Okay,
looks
good.
great.
So maybe
I
we'll be
will
on the
say,
docket.
Maybe me and Kirkland did watch different trailers, because you said this is dark and creepy, and I don't see that at all. To me, it was very warm, and fuzzy and childish, and using like very primary colors and stuff like that. Just very bright. I loved it. I think it looks great. Kubo and the Two Strings was one of my favorite movies in the year that came out. I don't even know what year that was. 2016, 2017.
I think
Great.
17. Yeah.
Whatever it was, like a big budget stop motion animated movie. Like that's right down my alley, and I think this looks fantastic. And yeah, seeing stills from it like a few months ago is like, okay, well, another Pinocchio story. But like, yeah, seeing it in motion looks fantastic. So I'm very excited for this. This is like, I don't know, I'll probably be putting this in my calendar so I can watch it the weekend it comes out. I'm very, very excited for this.
Is this the one you watched, Kirkland? Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio?
Yeah, I watched both of them.
Okay.
Why are you just see? I was scared. Okay, don't judge me.
I was just making sure you
Go
said.
to the middle of the trailer.
I mean, I can see, like,
when he's
I
like
can
when he's
understand.
sculpting him. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? This is a little dark and
Yeah, I can. If you think the stop motion
I don't want
looks
to get copyright
kind of
strike.
uncanny and creepy,
Mhm.
I can see where you're coming from. But
Yes.
yeah, I guess that my takeaway was different, which is cool. I mean, I like that
Yeah.
we can kind of get different things from it, and I mean,
I see it my way. You're not watching it right.
yeah. It's just, yeah, the Pinocchio situation is weird. Just when we talked about that a few months ago, because Travis was not on that episode, and we were all like, what? There's like 100 Pinocchio movies. We're very confused by what was going on.
I heard, and I
there.
had a fun time with it as a listener.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this is great.
And I think legitimately a couple of us did watch different trailers than other ones. So yeah, it was very, it's a very weird time for the Pinocchio fans out there. You gonna do a big crossover, all the Pinocchios in one movie?
Yeah. Well, Taylor's not here, so we'll just skip him. He left. He misses out.
He hates Pinocchio. Notorious hater of Pinocchio.
He's going to try to find his Pinocchio toy that he has dug somewhere in a box.
He just walks out with Madison. Oh God, I'm a real boy.
He's like puppeteering him. He's got strings.
Yeah, we just see the nose like slowly enter the frame.
I hope it's his nose.
Oh, is he gonna have some? Hey Taylor, you got something to say on this Pinocchio trailer?
Pinocchio, yeah, my God. There's nothing wrong with like a wooden puppet every now and then. What?
Did you didn't watch the trailer, did you?
No, I did.
Okay,
I did.
Just checking.
Again, like the animation style, I absolutely love it. I love how it just seems like a. I was trying to like see what's the dark undertones, because it doesn't seem like we're getting like the.
Should have been here, man. We just discussed
just
it.
getting shit on.
Wait, no, did you hear Kirklin? Could you hear when you were gone in the other room? Oh,
no.
Okay. I thought you were directly referencing what Kirklin said. I was very confused.
No, what were you referencing?
Because I mentioned that like this one just felt like a much darker Pinocchio story than like the
Really?
Tom Hanks one.
Said it was creepy.
Yeah, I was creeped out a little bit in the trailer.
I didn't get that at all.
Okay.
I felt
I'm
like
the
it was much
outlier.
more positive.
I'll
I didn't
accept it.
feel. Yeah, I didn't feel like it was. It felt very different from like the state of the art Pinocchio
State of the art.
storyline that I'm used to. I mean, what always gets me is the giant whale they have in the Pinocchio story. So, but no,
What a fact! What a fucking fact!
That
It always gets me. It's the whale.
it's the whale. Yeah, but
Here you go, Taylor. This is the scary sequence.
Oh,
look at the,
no, it's
look at
back
the
again.
lightning in the background. Look at this. It's like we're in Frankenstein's monster here. Now I love the detail and everything, but like,
I don't think it's scary.
Oh, it
it's
looks
very
so good.
sentimental. Look at that face.
oh,
full
it
of
looks
emotion.
fantastic. But yeah. Oh, he's dead. But
Okay,
yeah.
stop. I don't want to get fucking copyright
the
strike
dark-
for
that was the dark
Pinocchio,
moment.
okay?
the
I'm
dark-
already
gonna come
fighting the
after
Resident Evil review. I won the Predators one. I got to fight the Resident Evil one now.
I was gonna ask if we got flagged on that one, playing a whole Dua Lipa song basically.
They didn't flag us for the Dua Lipa song. They flagged us for the fucking scene of the like you don't be
That's
showing
so
that Resident Evil
weird.
thing. But I said we were
Oh,
critiquing.
wow.
One of the things of fair use is critiquing, and I said we were using the scene to point out how bad it was. We were critiquing it as I did. I said in the I said this is the because if they're gonna fucking try to flag us,
They're
no,
like,
they're
we
just,
love that scene. We're not. We're
yeah, they're just.
I'm just
mad we
imagining
tried.
like anyone using copyrighted music in their video, and at the end, they're just like, yeah, this song sucks, and that's how they justify it as like fair use.
But again, even Dua Lipa's team, they did not flag it. It was just Resident Evil Netflix, you know? So, is that everything you have to say on Pinocchio, Taylor?
Why are you gonna say it like that?
I mean, it's. I'm looking forward to it. Again, I like Guillermo del Toro movies. Shape of Water was interesting. Pan's Labyrinth was always definitely a classic one to see in the theaters. I was wild seeing that with my mom, but yeah, it's good times.
I wish you saw Shape of Water with your mom. That would have been great.
Ooh.
No, that one I heard things and I thought, Mom, we're not gonna see this together. So
It's like, Taylor, that's a movie I want to see all year. I've been waiting to see Shape of Water. Well, you know what we're going to be waiting on for, I think, a very long time is Knights of the Old Republic. So we're talking about some video game news because Dylan got some episodes banked right now. He did a great side
I
quest.
thought you were gonna say banned for some reason.
Yeah,
A lot of copyright. I've been blasting Dua Lipa in all of side quests.
Side quest been taken down. It's taking a little sabbatical, but no, he got the Stream Deck review next week. So he said, "Oh, we're not going to talk some news for a little bit." I'm like, "Oh well, this is a good time because these two topics, specifically this one, all four of us will be together, and it's a big thing because you know." Last year, months ago, we had that good PlayStation, big showcase, and so hyped. One of the biggest hype moments, I think, at least for the cast, video games wise, for me and some others. But man, KOTOR, the remake, has been announced, coming, PlayStation and PC. And now we had a fun week where they apparently showed a demo or a slice or something to PlayStation and Lucasfilm. That ended up, two directors ended up being fired for that. I can't remember which. I think it was earlier on too, like one of the developers or like designers or something got let go as well. And then it looks like the company, and Dylan, you may know better than me the terms. I can't remember the two companies, but Saber, I think, is one, is taking it from the, I think it was Aspire and Saber, because Aspire, I think they're known for like making
Aspire's the developer.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Is the developer of the studio, and then what was it? It was the Embracer Group, which I think Saber is part of that.
Yes, that's
like
what it is,
acquired Asper, whatever it's called, like last year I think it was.
Yeah, and they've mostly done just like ports and stuff like that. So there's been a big thing, and I guess Saber is sounding like they're gonna take over this project. All I gotta say is like I feel like I've just been we've done top 10 lists when I've been talking about KOTOR so much, and I finally just had that relief of, man, we're getting something to do with it. And it definitely still could come out. Games happen all the time, and with it being Star Wars and IP, at least they know, okay, there's some backing, they know there's some built-in audience there. But man, do I not feel good about this in the future. And as of right now, I know it could very likely still come out, and I think the date was like they're like planning to try and get it for the end of 2022 was like this report said. Now it's like 2025, so maybe 3 years from now we'll be talking about. But as right now, to avoid more hurt and disappointment, I'm just going to resign myself to the fact that I'm not going to get this game, that I'm just going to have to play the original again on my shitty Xbox or Xbox 360 or whatnot with those controls. And I like it. Does it hold up the grace? No, because so many things have aged, but I can still get in the mode of liking it and enjoying it because it's such a great game for myself. But yeah, not only just everything about this does not sound good, and it sounds very disappointing, the fact that we have this big IP that was a classic game, that finally we're getting this going on, where it just sounds like it's not being treated that way per se. We don't know all the details, but I just mean the fact that we got in this situation where, well, we've lost these directors and it might be starting from the ground up, and 3 years from now, it's a lot. But I'll throw it to the side quest host to get our initial thoughts here. Dilmas, what do you take away from all this KOTOR remake news?
Yeah, well, first of all, I don't think it'll get canceled. I think the reason for that for me is that PlayStation has been backing this in a pretty big way in the marketing, and getting the exclusivity on it. And I think they really want it, and I think they've seen since the announcement that it is like a console exclusive. That's been I feel like a big thing in the conversation. Like that was a really good get for them. So I think PlayStation will ensure that it happens in one way or another, whether they like somehow, yeah.
You're not leaving until you
it.
finish this game.
I mean, how much can they really affect Aspire, the studio that they don't own? I don't know, but maybe they have the rights in some way and they bring it to Blue Point, who's done the Demon Souls remake. They did Shadow of the Colossus remake in 2018. Like whether they do something like that or find another studio to make it, or just throw more money at this and make sure it happens. Yeah, not a good sign when you're like two of the heads of your studio get fired after showing off some gameplay. That is not good. So it's definitely iffy. And yeah, I mean, was it supposed to come out at the end of this year? That's not really been confirmed. And
I doubt it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the thing is, like, this report came from Bloomberg, who is the one that leaked that this was happening before it got announced anyway. So I think it's probably pretty like that the game existed, I should say, before it got announced officially. Yep. So I think all this stuff is accurate, even though it's just kind of maybe early reports or rumors right now. Yeah, so I don't know what the future will be. I think it could be a few years, but I think that's okay because this isn't a remaster. This is a remake, and that is a much bigger undertaking than a remaster. And I think that's, like, I haven't played KOTOR, but it sounds like a lot of the gameplay mechanics and things like that maybe haven't aged super well, and it sounds like it definitely needs a remake treatment, not just a remaster treatment. So I think, give it the time it needs, and it will be better for it. Like, I would not be surprised if they are looking at this remake and wanting to do a Final Fantasy VII remake thing where they have the turn-based still, but then they also have like an action system that you can kind of switch between. And that sounds like very, very difficult to balance a system that way. And so if that is part of the reason why they're having so much trouble getting it to work, then that would make sense. So yeah, I think it's gonna take a bit longer, but I think this will still definitely happen. And yeah, I mean, I guess the thing to be thankful for here is we haven't really seen any gameplay for it. We just kind of had like a teaser trailer, so it's not like the expectations in terms of, oh man, I was excited for what they were showing off. We don't really have that part of it yet, so maybe this was good. It happened at this point, and then 2 years from now, when it was closer to release, and we had seen a bunch of gameplay, but yeah, we still don't really know what the actual vision or what it actually looks like when it's going to be done.
Kirklin.
Yeah, this is definitely unfortunate news. That was such a big holy shit moment when we just saw like Revan in that teaser trailer for just KOTOR's coming. So yeah, and anytime you hear something like this, it's disappointing. And I think like also just some of the details around the news, it was even more upsetting. Of like, it's not just like, hey guys, yeah, it's gonna be delayed because of this. It's like, no, this guy's fired and this guy's fired. And then like I was talking to just somebody at work about this whole situation, and he was telling me, I haven't looked into his sources, so I won't even say my my unreliable source here, but it sounded like the head honcho kind of was like pitching this to be out by like, I think next year, like summer or like pretty damn soon. And
early
like,
is this year, end of this year.
Okay, yeah, then that would have been
reports
the
are
date that
then,
he was telling me, and it's just like obvious, like these people I think were fired. Is like, this is absolutely ridiculous of a timeline. Like, and like I don't have transcripts on what actually happened, but I feel like that's probably close to what did happen. Honestly, if it's the art director, who was it? The art director and the design director were both fired. Like, I really think that they were probably pushing back on those higher ups in that instance. Again, this is all hearsay, but alas, like just having those two people fired, like that's a big red flag right then and there. I'm not gonna call it and say this project's never gonna come out, but I won't expect to hear anything for like, I think over a year. I don't think I'll really even hear anything on this project, but doesn't mean it's never coming out. So I'll I don't know. I'll play the long game and just almost pretend like I don't even know this is a thing. And then when I do get an actual trailer, it's like, oh my god, guys, do you hear KOTOR's coming out?
No problems at all. This is their first step of the bat.
Nobody's got fired already.
Yeah. Taylor, what about you? I imagine, Star Wars Celebration's happening next year, I think around April. Probably not going to be hearing anything there. I, imagine we got to wait for Revan a little more.
The downside to this is that this curse among the movies is now bleeding into the games, and it really fucking sucks. Really, really sucks. Now, reading into the article that Clay had shared initially...
Blame Ryan Johnson.
Ryan Johnson, yeah. So the article that Clay shared initially, and I was reading into it, yeah, the two directors basically had this whole like cinematic like example that was all like polished off and everything, and they showcased it. It was very well received. It looked awesome. And then they realized in retrospect, like, hey, there was a lot of budget and a lot of time invested into this, and now it's conflicting with the 2022 dilemma. The timeline just for that setting that up was just a lot of, I don't know, it didn't make them happy. So now we're in this case here. They've let them go, and now the game that was supposed to be rumored for 2022, production, I guess, specialists on the outside, third parties, are just looking at this now and saying, okay, now it looks like this has got a much more prominent 2025 kind of gauge, which when they announced this game, I honestly was thinking, okay, like 2023 at the amazing earliest, but like 2024 seems more in line for something like this. Like, sure, maybe beginning of 2025, but now I feel like we had this whole dilemma, we're back on track, and it just sucks because this is just the debacle of, hey, we're going to show you Star Wars Eclipse, this awesome cinematic trailer. But here's the kicker. That game's not coming out for fucking a century. It's like, oh, well, great, thanks a lot. It's just so unfortunate because the only thing I have to look forward to is this unknown Ubisoft Star Wars title that's not it's just ghosting me. It's not even fucking here or there. I don't know where the fuck this game is.
A lot of fucks tonight from Taylor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when is the Ubisoft Forward? That's pretty soon, right?
It is soon. I'm hoping it's actually very soon. I can't remember the date.
Right now.
September 10th, apparently.
Oh, that's not as soon as I wanted. I want some Star Wars stuff.
I'm hoping they announce it. Or maybe they're just going to show more Avatar stuff. Who knows? But
well, that game got delayed to 2023 or 2024.
It did. They're probably restructuring, hiring the art directors from the Old Republic game.
Hey, you guys want to come over and play?
But needless to say, I'm very, very sour about this. I think it's bullshit. It's just unfortunate and
bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
It's bullshit, Mark.
Bullshit.
I gotta watch The Room again. It's been a while.
Oh, good stuff. Well, you know what you got to watch for? Some more GTA stuff. Because talk about a game where we hear a lot about, but I feel like that's one of the things that we get rumors almost every 3 months. Is there's this, there's that, there's this play. It's this is the size of the map. No, it's not the size. This is where you're playing. No, it's not. Oh, Nico Bellic's coming back. He's not actually coming back. Like we hear so much stuff about GTA. I'd love to see. I guarantee you there must be, right? There has to be some Grand Theft Auto podcasts out there, and they must have content all the time because always you got the online stuff, but with the rumors and everything, it's like us covering the comic book stuff. Like there's just a rumor a fucking minute, but right now, I think this one came from some bigger sources. The rumor is, so it's kind of a kicker where one, you'll be playing as a female protagonist, but the reason you'll be doing that is it sounds like it could be similar to the last game where you play as multiple characters, but you'll be doing that because it's going to be GTA's take on a Bonnie and Clyde sort of situation. And I'm all for that. The female thing, it will be interesting because obviously GTA already has lots of people that always push back about some of the choices they make for comedy and whatnot. So I think I was going to say they got to be careful, but Grand Theft Auto will not be careful. They will find the wall and break through it, and they'll step over the line.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they've also had a ton of people changing up in the writers' room, and like the lead writers and stuff from GTA 5 and stuff. I forget his name, but like that, those people are gone. So it is a lot of new people. And at least even in the last few years, like I saw that they've been changing stuff and actually removing certain jokes from GTA 5 that were, you know, maybe disparaging to certain groups and stuff like that. So I feel like it's maybe a different time for Rockstar than it was in the past.
And I hate to be like the rain cloud and bring the badness, but I wonder if that type of stuff will, like, GTA is such a big brand, but I wonder if that type of safeness will hurt that game because certain audiences will want that. They'll want that envelope push, and if it's not, like I can just, what I'm saying is I can already see the GTA developers on thumbnails with red eyes about GTA's too woke and stuff like that. That's what I'm worried about with that. But the thing is, I like that idea of if you could play both, especially with GTA 5, you end up having to make a choice with a certain character. That would be fun, as if you had to make a choice, like maybe take the money or take the person that you love with or something like that. Like, I'm not looking for that specifically, but I think that's a fun dynamic, especially because I think they've had elements of it, but it's very surface level, like a love story. So if they were to actually dive into like a relationship between these two, you know, being criminals, bank robbers, I think there could be some really good wrinkles added into that. So I hope this one is true. Like I said, I think we're covering this one because it's coming from more reliable places, but I saw it's like, fuck, GTA Bonnie and Clyde, sign me up. I think that's just new territory for them to cover. They said it's going to take place in like a Miami-like city. It's like, well, gee,
Vice
fuck,
City.
what a surprise, a Miami-like city. I wonder where we're going there, but so at some point we're going to begin that. But Kirklin, how do you feel about these rumors?
It's funny how you start off by saying, like, I feel like every few days I'll open up my social medias. It's just like GTA 6 isn't coming out for a while, and it's just like like it's not even like on a gaming page or something. Like GTA is just such a big thing, and like that's just like a big headline that they've thrown out multiple times of like GTA 6 isn't close.
Yeah.
It's just like
at least it's months away from a reveal. Reveal's not 2 years away. You know?
Yeah, so it was always weird like getting those headlines to actually get this news. I'm like, I ain't buying it, no. And then yeah, like when I actually like looked into it and then it seemed like it was actually a credible source, it's like, oh wow, we're actually getting legit GTA rumors. And I think this is a really, really fun idea, honestly. Like I didn't know that it was the Bonnie and Clyde situation. All I saw was just the female protagonist. And even if that was the case, I think that's cool too. It's completely different than what they've done before. But the Bonnie and Clyde situation, like specifically from a story element, I feel like that's so intriguing to me because GTA's, especially GTA 5, it's just it's like a cinematic experience, honestly. Like it's such a great story with on top of the millions of like other things that are in that world. Like I think it's crazy. Like considering that one game, like I feel like like all of us have probably put in like 100 hours plus into just GTA 5. Like it's just we sunk so much time in. So no matter what happens, even if they change like some of maybe not maybe they change some like not necessarily main story stuff, like just to, I don't know, like Dylan was mentioning, like possibly not disparaging like certain groups or anything like that. Like if they're just trying to make it more modern day and not have these like like we just did Predators, and there was some very distasteful
Lots of
jokes
dated
in
jokes.
there
Yeah,
that just don't. Yeah, they're so dated, and it does not live up. Like I feel like we'll probably be seeing a lot less of that, even if it is just for like a shock humor thing. I feel like we're just gonna be seeing less of that in general when we get GTA 6. But you don't need that to make a phenomenal story. So like I'm not worried about that by any means. So yeah, in my eyes, this is all exciting news. I think I kind of had an assumption we were going to be going back to Vice City, so that wasn't too surprising. But yeah, the big one was a female protagonist, and when I saw that, I'm like, of course, like why haven't we had a female playable character other than just making like your custom online character or whatnot?
Because I think there's a precedent that the fan base of that game would not go for that. I think, and that I think is also still a risk too. I think that fan base is primarily.
I feel like it probably also is they probably didn't have any women writers on the team. Until recently.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So I'm all excited for this news. I think it's awesome.
Are we ever going back to San Andreas? Like I know because everyone says that because that was like the hype game and stuff like that. But I do agree. I actually thought we were gonna get it this time around.
Isn't that where GTA 5 is?
Yeah, that's where we just.
I thought that's where GTA 5 was. Yeah.
That was the last game, man. When are we going back?
Where are you? Have you heard of GTA 5?
Are you thinking of
released
like
on
New
every
York?
platform imaginable, including
what's
the
it
whale that the avatar is being projected onto?
What's it called? Empire City? What's like the Nico Bellic?
So where was
Liberty
Nico?
City?
Liberty City.
City.
Yes, thank you.
What was Los Santos?
It's the same
That's-
thing. So
yeah.
San Andreas is like the county, I think, and then Los Santos is L.A. essentially.
Yeah,
so,
that
like, the
I
specific
think,
city.
but I think that's
No,
where
it's the
I'm-
same thing. It's still like
Is it
California,
though?
LA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because San Andreas is like an actual region in
Are
the
you
world,
searching
and
up?
that's, like-
Okay.
yeah, I'll look it up.
Look up and see if there's a difference between San Andreas and Los Santos in the GTA
I
world
remember
there.
it being
'cause
all the hype. Everyone was talking about like, oh, can't wait to go back to the same map kind of thing.
But then I remember that being the disappointment where it wasn't the exact same. Like it didn't, because people always want. Because what?
Google San Andreas, just the fucking 2015 The Rock film. Completely forgot about that.
Don't do that.
He's taking over the SEO. Jesus. Taylor, how do you feel about the stuff while Kirklin's looking for some info?
I'm totally game for this. I love the idea of having a woman protagonist in this. When Assassin's Creed did it, and we got like Jacob and Evie Fry, that was
Oh
super
no,
hype.
the
It was
twins,
awesome.
the fucking
Oh,
twins! I never
Evie.
forgot
She's
them.
back.
Yeah, and the guy who has what heavy testosterone? You said that was his power,
Oh,
right? Heavy
yeah.
testosterone.
He's aggressive, yeah.
Yeah, he said his power.
Real
aggressive.
man's man.
For people that don't know this, Taylor was describing this game, and he was like describing Evie and like all these attributes. And then when he got to Jacob, he's like, yeah, and he's very angry, like he has a lot of attitude, and like all he just like he was apparently a pissed off guy. So
Good times.
But yeah, I'm totally down to experience like this perspective in her shoes with like the Bonnie and Clyde kind of storyline. I think that would just be super, super cool. I think there's a lot of things that they definitely do have to be careful of. Like with GTA 5, I've sunk so many hours into that, and the whole thing for me, like I wanted to get back into GTA 5 so bad on next gen consoles, but that ship sailed where like when it came out on 360, I've lost track of how many hours I sunk into that game, like the online specifically. And when I missed the boat to convert my character over on the next gen, I thought, you know what, I can't sink all that time back in and reinvest and everything. Like it's just too much. So I thought, okay, I'm just gonna hold out and wait for the next GTA.
it's the Mario Kart method.
It's the fucking Mario Kart method.
Doesn't
This
work out
happens-
for you, man.
It might this time. So I mean,
Got some new Mario
yeah.
Kart courses today too. So.
was that today?
Well,
It's
they're
too
not
late,
out
Taylor.
today, but
Oh.
they announced it today.
It's too late. Fuck. But yeah, no, I'm very much looking forward to this. I'm always down for a GTA, and it's funny because I remember when I was at the midnight launch for GTA 5, and I wasn't even getting the game. I was there just with my friends, and we're just hanging out. And they're like, "Taylor, you gotta get this game." I was like, "Okay." Midnight came, and I slammed my $60 on the counter. I was like, "Buddy, let's fucking go." Got the game. And it's just great times after
Wait,
that. So I'm
wait.
all
So you
about
were
it.
at the midnight release, just hanging out, but not going to purchase the game.
Yeah, I was just hanging out with my friends. Wasn't gonna buy it.
No time to be young and single, eh?
And then
Yeah, I
ended
got
up
time to
buying it.
stand in a line at midnight for no reason. Sure.
I had a UFO experience that night too. It's fucking wild. So
Have you
yeah.
told that
Save
on
that
Cryptic
story.
Clues? That story.
I have. Yeah.
Nice.
So Superman, and I want to see what Kirklin says after, but
Travis.
Dan Andreas. Where's Dan Andreas?
San
Superman.
Andreas.
Whoa,
That's
the next game.
the new location. we're
San
going to.
Andreas is like California. Los Santos is like LA. San Fierro is like San Francisco, and Las Venturas is like Las Vegas. I'm telling you, that's what I mean. Like, I feel like because when you're going to the States, you're like, oh, that's like the same. You're like, no, it's not it's not the same. If there's a difference, that's where I feel like. Thank you. What does it say?
Grand Theft Auto. San Andreas
Yes.
takes place in 1982 within the fictional U.S. state of San Andreas. So the U.S. state would be San Andreas in that regard. So that would be That would be like California, right? Essentially,
But what does the rest of it say? Which consists of
based
three
upon
cities.
sections of California and Nevada, as seen in the early 1990s, which consists of three main cities: Los Santos, based on Los Angeles; San Fierro, based on San Francisco; and Las Venturas, based on Las
Okay,
Vegas.
so sorry,
Like
this is
Superbad Mike said.
this is more what I mean. Where the San Andreas game? Where is that Los Santos?
Well,
I
Los
feel like-
Santos is in it, and then also San Fierro, and also Las Venturas, which is supposed to be the Las Vegas portion.
And were those
So it
all
kinda-
in 5 as well?
Not the Las
I don't
Vegas
think there's a
one.
Vegas
Yeah.
area. Yeah.
Okay. I just thought there was something where people thought that early on where it was kind of like, oh, we're going to be going to very similar, maybe the exact
But
same.
remember,
not-
there's like the Hollywood Hills and like all
yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of stuff. Yeah.
I remember it was LA. I just thought that it was people. That was the idea, like, oh, we're going back there, and then it was like, well, we're not exactly going back there. But okay, maybe I'm wrong. I gotta do some more digging because I'm
Just
sure.
give me a city, give me the guns, the cars.
Yeah, I don't
and
care.
let's
Like, and
fuck
Vice
shit
City,
up.
Vice City is the one that's the first one I ever bought, and I bought all the fucking PlayStation 4 remasters. Never played them once for like $30, So classic.
got 'em.
spending.
You'll
Yeah,
retire one day, man.
One day I'll play them. It's not too late. But Dylan, where are you on this?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. One, just because this is like actually a substantial rumor leak. Once again, this is Bloomberg, which is very reputable. And so to like get this kind of information dump from that source to me is a good sign that this game is like getting there. It's getting close. Whereas I don't know, like we've as you guys mentioned, like heard a lot of talk about it. Obviously, in the last 5-6 decade years at this point. But I don't know. Nothing really felt like anything too much to go off of. It was just like little rumors here or there.
Yeah.
Nothing that like really made it seem like it was coming out soon.
Whispers.
But specifically, part of this info dump is that they're thinking like a year or two away is this game. So that's pretty exciting. That within the next year we could get our first like big trailer. I still remember that first like GTA 5 trailer,
Oh, what a moment.
or maybe not the first one, but at least whatever the E3
that song
thing would be. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's very
Iconic
exciting
for me.
I like the setup of this Bonnie and Clyde. I'm curious what that means of like are the two characters, are you playing as both of them, which I assume you are, and is there a relationship there? Is that part of the game? I'm curious, but is it more of like it's supposed to be kind of a co-op thing that you play with a friend, and that's
That'd
like
be
they
fun.
they're still going to have GTA Online, but then you can also do that. So I'm curious how that will all work out. But having a woman as one of them is cool. That was my GTA Online character was a woman. I played a ton of that, so I feel like I've kind of had that a little bit. And you can have whatever character you want in online, but of course it's not going to be the same as a fully fleshed out Rockstar written story. Miami does not really excite me just because it's been done before, and I don't really like this idea that by the time this game comes out, it'll have been so far from GTA 4 that it's like, what it's time for? New York, baby, let's go back.
100%.
And then
yeah.
by the time that's done, it's like, well, let's go back to California. And I don't know, I just don't want that where we keep recycling the same three cities. I get it, they're big places that you can base a lot of content off of, but I just want to see something else. I'm still waiting for this big AAA game that's set in Pacific Northwest, whether that's Seattle or you got the Vancouver DLC.
Vancouver,
yeah. Of course, the Rutland DLC we talked about. I just want something a bit different. So yeah, I guess that part doesn't excite me necessarily, but it has been a long time since Vice City, and I never owned that game either. I just kind of played it at friends' houses as well. So getting a full game of it is an exciting idea.
I truly believe at one point in time in our lifetime we're going to be seeing a GTA game in like England, in London. I think that's just I think it's right there. Like they even have an actual GTA game based in that one. I remember playing on like PS1.
Those
It was
old
one of the
school
top down ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had like the Mini Coopers with the Union Jack on the roof. I remember it was just very iconic. But
Well-
I really believe that it'd be so fitting to go there and just have like an all English cast. I think that would be just really really fun. And it's something completely different, right? I have to drive on the other side of the road.
I don't think you're wrong, but I don't think it's till you're older than or not before you're 40. That's what I'll say.
Okay, that's still what I said.
No, that's what I'm saying. But even then, it's pushing it because you're only living to 42 and stuff like that.
Well, I'll put one of the other things from this info dump is that the idea is to add new cities through DLC. So I would assume that just means other places in the United States, probably places that they've wanted to do but aren't necessarily like big enough for them to consider it to be a fully fledged game. But kind of how like Fallout 76 added like Pittsburgh as a location recently, or they're about to add it, whatever it is. So I think that's very exciting for me because that was always the thing I wanted. Like I played GTA Online for a while, but it wasn't really like the updates that kept me coming back. I just played it because there was a lot to do from the get-go. But yeah, I've always wanted, like, where was the GTA 5 like single player DLC? It never happened.
No.
Where they add like a new location, new characters, new story and stuff. So to get new cities through DLC is a very exciting idea, and I think that's fine with the pipeline they've built up for making continuous content for something with GTA 5 online or single player. Just the idea of having GTA 6 as like the definitive GTA game where you keep adding new locations. It's kind of like what Ubisoft's planning to do with Assassin's Creed, right? What is it? Is it called Assassin's Creed Infinite, Taylor? That one where it's just like they're just going to keep adding stuff to this one continuous Assassin's Creed thing.
Yeah, I haven't been following that. I totally
If
forgot
that's,
about
I don't
that
even know if
one.
that's still the plan, but I know it's been talked about a lot. So I think that works here for GTA, and once again, could be a way to get some of those maybe smaller cities or locations that you wouldn't normally see.
It does, but it makes me a little sad that like if we get a GTA for next like 10 years and it's just like you don't get that big release for like a very long time until it's like outdated, right? Like I loved that like cycle of every once in a while we're building up GTA, and if it's just here's one, there's definitely pros to that. Like I'm still waiting for sports games to do that. Like here's the one, and we'll add new players and whatnot. But it's a new era, I guess, right? So.
Well, we're already waiting well over a decade for the sequel game, so it's taking forever. So, I guess I shouldn't say. I guess 2013. So not. We'll see when it actually gets announced.
Yeah, we're close.
It's like 3 generations
to a decade,
of consoles. So there you go.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think they have enough studios that ideally they could have a couple studios who are working on these other cities while they still have the other game, because apparently this next GTA game has been in the works. Once again, according to this article, since like 2015 or something like that is how long they've been working on it, and what that means in terms of like how Bethesda's like, yeah, we're working on Elder Scrolls 6, but realistically, they're just like drawing like with a pencil on a piece of paper to like get an idea what the map looks like. It's like, are you really making it? Like, come on.
I hear they just brought on a new art and design director.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
bring on a new art director.
We got a couple newbies here.
And then that was. The last like minor thing is that they plan to do more indoor locations, I guess.
Yeah, I
so
saw that. Yeah.
I'm into that. I've always wanted more interior locations in GTA. It's always been funny that like, whatever it is, 2% of the buildings you can go in, and they always have a big red door, so it's really obvious which ones you can go into. So I'm down for that. I don't know what that means exactly. Wait to be seen, but. I think that also makes sense for GTA Online and people using the game to kind of hang out and stuff. Just more interior locations makes sense. So yeah, I'm very excited. I'm glad that this games is like this is a pretty big info dump, and it is probably a sign that we're going to get information soon. Soon meaning like within a year or two, which is like
I agree,
that feels like soon for how long we've been waiting for like truly new non GTA 5 Online content from Rockstar. So
by 2023, we'll probably hear something, I imagine. So
I think so, and that's a pretty cool thought, right?
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a fun day. That trailer review and everything like that. Yeah, it's gonna be good times. Finally, closing that off. Superbad Mike says only Los Santos and the outskirts were in GTA 5. So there you go. I knew there was something. I knew there was something going on. I think they'll have Oakland, California in the game also. I'm in the Bay Area. Oakland is a crazy place and only a 25-minute drive from San Francisco. That's possible. And Superbad Mike, you said GTA version of Florida, but you got Miami there. Maybe you just mean Orlando, Florida, which is more like very heavy right wing, which I get what you're saying. There's tons of potential there, but they got that with Miami in a sense, right? And so Well, we did it. This was a 2.5. This is longer than some
meaty.
big movies and whatnot. But we had lots to talk about, lots of news broke this week, and that's why now you can see. This week we didn't do. That's why we have 2 newscasts, because you can see we just split them up because there's just so much news nowadays. You can easily fill it. So thank you very much for tuning in this episode. When you hear from us next week, not be boring.
Peace.
See ya.